done through this. So, hey ho. Run.
We will see.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 300. Oh, God. How long have we been doing this? I don't remember anymore. Do you know the difference between sex and gender? This is Queer 101 from a channel called The Advocate. And if you didn't know, The Advocate has been the LGBTQ news source since 1967, which I had no idea that that was a thing for so many decades. But apparently it is. Must have been American because I don't recall that group at all in Canada or North America. So, yay, The Advocate. And I thought we stopped, again, this is another person, like we weren't offended by Jessie Gender's videos in the past, but we just sort of went, nah, they're not really that interesting. They're all biased towards Star Trek, and her views on sexuality and gender were kind of confusing.
Oh, yeah, he's this, I guess she, right?
He or she does have nice boobs, I'll give her that. So I appreciate. I appreciate.
No.
Okay.
What? No. Look, we gotta say positive stuff here.
I'm eating.
There's nothing
wrong.
I'm
eating. I do not
There's
want to be
nothing wrong with appreciating breasts, my friend.
I mean,
you could watch.
Makeup.
You could watch.
I appreciate a lot of breasts. I just wouldn't have said it. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, me too. I mean, I like squeezing them.
Okay.
I've learned not to sexualize the people we cover.
No, I'm just saying. If you can appreciate a Salvador Dali painting where there's all sorts of body parts melting around, I think you can appreciate a person with actual breasts. I think that's a nice thing. Anyway.
Hawk, this is the only way to appreciate Maggie Mayfish. Give in.
What? Wait a sec. No. Wait. We're not talking about Maggie. We're talking about Jessie Gender here. So.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Movie Bob. Okay.
Movie Bob? Booby Bob? What did you say?
Well, Movie Bob does have a pair of breasts.
Anyway.
What his breasts like, Smud?
I have not yet
Is that like a Salvador Dali picture or whatever?
Yeah, I don't think we associate Movie Bob with the human element very well. So kind of hard to divine the milk of human kindness from Movie Bob. So shouldn't take that literally either.
It looked like that scene off of Last Jedi. If you try to get the milk of human kindness, Movie Bob.
It's one way of looking at Movie Bob, I guess. All right.
Unconventional beauty.
Yeah, we gotta be positive. We gotta be positive. So,
I'm here. What are we? Why? Oh no, not this.
Yes. 4 minutes of Jessie Gender on another channel talking about words. We're gonna be learning words, guys. We're gonna be learning. It's
4 minutes of this. You know, we sometimes minute 40 minutes of something in 3 hours. These 4 minutes will take 3 hours.
Well, no, come on. I mean. Even with you, I think we can take our time.
With this topic, the whole premise is bullshit.
Oh, no, I get it. I understand that. But that's most of the videos we cover anyway. So it's pretty much the same, just faster. Right?
I have a theory that this is how the
Reapers want to
indoctrinate us.
3 minutes we had, where we had to stop every 2 seconds?
Well, that was Renegade Cut. I mean, that's every video.
It wasn't Renegade Cut. That was something else.
Okay.
We've watched a lot of propaganda videos.
There was a professional propaganda video from some big media channel.
Oh yeah, the cartoon. It was from Steven Universe. They took one of the characters. It was a PSA. It was 2 minutes long or so.
Pardon me, sorry.
Jesus.
You humans.
I'm so sorry about that. That was a takeaway and some coke that just came out there.
Anyway.
Okay, Hawk.
Continue. Sorry, I'll mute myself.
Anyway, this is going to be 4 minutes of Jessie Gender doing the whole advocacy thing. I assume I haven't watched it yet, so I can't say. I want to be surprised because it's only.
And then it takes 5 hours to finish it just because it's Smudcast 300.
Well, no, I think this is a good relaxing.
Just shorten this to Jessie is wrong.
Yes, we could say that. We could probably say that off the bat.
We can go home. Stream is over.
Jesse's
We're done.
You're one that talks. You're the one that
Happy
goes on
300.
long heated rants.
This is Smudcast.
Woo.
Oh,
This
God.
person is
Featuring-
wrong. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Smudcast
We'll see you on
featuring
400.
Wisp the Pissed.
Yeah, well.
See you at 350.
It's not hard to look at these things and just sigh and go whatever, but we're gonna go through
hard.
it. We're gonna listen and see what they think about words, how they wish to redefine words, and why. And if they don't tell us why and how and all that crap, we're gonna give the standard answer of why this does not make sense, why gender is the way it is, and why we have all these wonderful biological norms and variability of biology and sociological elements and other things like that we can talk about in humanity that we've been going on for hundreds of years. So it's nothing special.
And
the whole
people can't complain because we do have a member of the LGBTQ community.
Well, you know
At
what?
least-
I am
Without the card, though.
semi-bisexual.
We are small
Yeah,
enough.
I'm semi-bisexual, so I'm part of the LGBT community.
Okay,
so we're all,
Hawk.
we're all sorted.
Get out.
Thank you.
Oh, you are?
We're not here to showcase.
Wait, what's your pronouns?
What? No. What I mean is, we're not here to showcase our identities.
Diversity.
And whether we have someone or not makes very little difference because we should have a good argument
know.
regardless. And depending on
Yeah.
where we're coming
Totally,
from,
yeah.
than what we are. I think that's what really counts on this Smudcast. Not like, oh, I come from a background where I flew planes all day, therefore I can speak about, I don't know, World War II planes. Like, no, that's nice. It helps, but
Yeah.
you know,
The general joke of reality, the irony is anyway that all the non-SJW groups you see online or outside in meat space, they're usually more diverse than any SJW groups.
Oh yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that's just hilarious.
yeah, I know. So that's the thing with groups. People who will advocate for another group probably don't know what they're talking about and have no authority. They say you're part of the queer community or this. It's like, good for you. You are queer. There is no community of people that you can. You're suddenly now a monolith that everyone speaks for. No, you're not.
They just want to pat themselves on the back.
It's a strange way of putting it. I don't know why they think it's a homogenous group and that suddenly these people are spokespersons for them as if there's some disenfranchised. No, they're not. They're fine. They have their own personal problems like everyone else. Some of them are sexual, some of them aren't. But
It's an Oedipal disposition.
Yeah.
There's a narcissistic style called communal narcissism. That is. I don't think that is the exact thing that's happening in these virtue signaling cases, but it has overlap with some behaviors of that style, which is to do things to showcase the public what immensely good person you are, while at home the communal narcissist is just a horrible parent or spouse that is completely neglectful of his or her own children, for example. And something similar is going on with this whole virtue signaling thing. Like, to the world they need to show, I am this awesome virtuous person, adore me, but in reality they don't actually give a crap, and all that is allowed is their version of reality,
It's
their
a-
dogma, which isn't actually helping the people they advocate for.
it's a very same feeling I get whenever I listen to someone who's saying, oh, we should just tax the rich, or oh, we should start implying a levy, or we should start, like, they don't have an understanding of economics to start saying why that wouldn't work. They just say they're too rich, they should not be allowed to be billionaires. And I'm like, why? Who are they hurting? They're making jobs, they're providing services and products for everyone.
No, they're just stealing.
And-
Their logic, the communist logic, is that profit is theft from the worker.
Oh yes, not only theft, it's greed. It's a horrible thing. You're like, I'm like, okay, greed is.
No, greed is projection in the case of the communists. They're actually just jealous of the people richer than them. They don't care about people who are poorer than them. Not really. That's only what they virtue signal about. Which you can very well see with that one Black Lives Matter leader who took all the Black Lives Matter donations, several millions of dollars, and kept buying houses upon houses with it.
And then complained about white people on the market for housing.
and in part buying these in solely white neighborhoods. There are black neighborhoods that are well situated, but she decided to just buy in white neighborhoods. That's These people just want to be rich themselves. It's just a scam.
If you don't want white people buying loads of houses, buy a house in Uganda. You'll be definitely going against black people.
If you wanna, one of the core reading things of George Orwell that is often overlooked is Road to Wigan Pier. That's another of the, let's say, the three books of George Orwell that you should have read. Four. Let's say four. With 1984 and Animal Farm, the both quasi-fictional books that are just descriptions of reality within a story, woven into a story, and the others are Road to Wigan Pier and Notes on Nationalism.
All right.
Those are the things of Orwell you should have read, definitely.
They're short essays.
Another topic.
They're not. Yeah, they're not. Yeah. These are easy reading, guys. I know we advocated a bunch of books from the YAF organization because it was brought up because they're horrible. It's a horrible, ridiculous
I'm just bringing these
organization.
Up. If you want to have a better understanding of communism, these are the four books to read.
Yeah.
If
at
you
least
want.
by Orwell. We
only brought up.
Okay. All right.
That's what I wanted to say. If just talking George Orwell, these are the four books to read to understand communism.
Or just read Orwell in general because he's pretty darn good. So.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So 4 minutes. That'll go by fast. At least an hour, I'd say. But who knows? Let's start with the super chats and we'll get started. Kyle Rocket, I got a mind cleanser for the end of this. You all will need it. A mind cleanser. Is that a video or is that?
Depends on what it is.
Yeah. If it's a video, we might do it. But if it's like one of those crazy, super popular videos that will get me demonetized, and that's not the best.
That'll get the stream in lockdown. That won't be good.
Yeah. But hey,
it will be a waste of our nerves.
Send it to the
or emotional labor.
Send it to the Discord and tag me, and I'll check it out if it is a video. If not, send it to me. Either way, I want to know what it is. Mike Testa. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Hello and welcome to Pride. Is this Pride Day? I thought we had that like last week.
No, this is month of this nonsense.
No, it's Pride. Yeah, it's Pride Month.
Pride Month. Wow.
I get a whole month for this sin.
Oh.
Now to see companies use the rainbow version of their logo and then backpedal on it immediately.
I'm very happy that people are accepting of their interest in sex. I think that's a good thing in general. What I'm not happy about is that you have to tell people about it. I find it weird. I find it very weird. You like men, you like women, whatever. Fantastic. Shut up.
It's the greatest tragedy in human history.
From the very beginning,
shut up.
Was the initial mistake. Because pride is deemed as a cardinal sin, not just in Christianity, but many cultures. Pride comes before the fall and all of this stuff. And it is just pride is a key part of narcissism. And that's what this is all about. All you see out there is just peacocking and degeneracy. I've been on these things before, and I don't go there anymore because it's just drunk people doing horrible stuff on the street with children around. And no.
But Wisp, it is kind of ironic that Pride Month is in June, because June is in summer, which is before fall. So Pride does come before fall.
Oh no.
Okay.
Sorry.
It'd be like they did 4th of July for the whole month.
Yeah, that would make more sense, I think. But anyway, joke is okay. But
I don't get it.
The whole thing is just there are a lot of gay and bisexual people and trans people with real gender dysphoria who do make a giant how do you say this? Take a lot of distance from these events. They never show up there because all the sane ones do not go there. Because why? Especially for the trans people. Why would you want to go there if you pass? And you don't want anyone to know this. And this whole pride thing is all about, tell people how you are weird. Initially, this whole thing was supposed to be about, hey, people, see, we are normal people. We're like you. We have a love life. It's just we just can't have normal families. That's a problem. That is also what many homosexuals suffer from, that they can't have a child with their loved one. And that's what the real gays don't talk about, because it's just emotionally stressful, and it's something you just have to accept. You have to make your peace with. Just as with gender dysphoria, you have to make your peace with either trying to have a normal family or getting rid of your dysphoria, and then you can't have a normal family. That's kind of we have to go through questions that no normal person ever has to even consider being a thing. And
that reminds me, there was a video I watched with Jordan Peterson and Sargon, and he had 30 people contact him. Jordan Peterson contact him through email saying they were actual men transitioning to women, and 29 of the 30 agreed with him. And the people who are advocating for this, whatever you call these advocate groups are doing, are making their lives harder, because there's all these other things they have to do just to get by.
I think he got around 50 in the first year, and I was in the batch of the first 30, I think.
Really?
I wrote him a wisp-long mail.
Oh no!
when his email was still open. Later on, when he got so much attention, he just he couldn't operate the mail account anymore. Yeah. If you want to see what really the moment I had a moment with this, because I was just in the kitchen and cutting onions, and on the tablet behind me I had an Jordan Peterson interview running on the channel Transliminal. Doesn't have anything to do with trans. The name has a different meaning, different idea, and in that interview on Transliminal, he brought up almost every point I had written to him. I was making lunch and thought, wait, I know these points. These are my points. What is he talking about? And I had to stop making lunch and just watch this interview. And I don't know how many of these positions he still holds. And if you want to listen to Jordan Peterson bringing up like 90% of the points I wrote to him in my email, watch the interview on Transliminal. That was an interesting moment for me. I can tell you that.
Beautiful story, but
so if anyone's got a spare 17 hours, just listen to what this.
The best part of that story, to me at least, was the onions.
It's a short interview. Don't. It's not 17 hours. No.
I know someone who can go through chopping onions and make lunch with onions. That's a person I want to hang out with. Maybe not get intimate with, but just hang out with.
I'm confused. What are we talking about?
Onions are delicious. Anyway, let's keep going.
Red onions. I only do red onions.
That's all right. It's fine. Onions are great. Mike Testa. You already said that. Sorry. The Mechanist. I picked a bad day to give up Jet. I got that reference.
The drug jet from Fallout.
Yeah.
I got both references. That's very deep.
Okay. Here's Kyle Rocket.
That's what she said.
She looked like a failed Johnny Appleseed gender bend. What does that mean?
Who, what, where, and how?
Appleseed, the movie?
I think so.
Or Appleseed, the juice stuff? I don't know what you're about him.
Or maybe both.
Maybe there's a gender-bended version of Johnny Appleseed. I don't know. That's a very specific reference there, Kyle. But okay.
Indeed.
Thank you, sir. Here's Mike Testa once again. Steven Universes is garbage coded in propaganda. Yes, I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike, as hard as it was to grasp that sentence, I think you're right.
Steven Universe is garbage coded in propaganda. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to say words, but I also want to cough. And it's really difficult.
And eat. Right.
Here is Kyle Rocket again.
I finished eating. We've been going for that long. I finished my food.
All right, this is great. All right, the mind cleanser is in Stream Memes. You're welcome in advance. Thank you very much. That's perfect. We'll check it out later. We have £2 from Alexander Welch. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. Thank you, Alexander. No need to say anything. That's cool. I don't mind. The Mechanist again wet to work yesterday. Whoa, what are you doing at work, sir? Red does only make vids for SJW purposes. Oh, you're kidding me. No. Red really only does it for SJW reasons. That's a very veiled attempt. Like very veiled. To just have a little anecdote or a quote about SJW-isms in her stuff.
It takes a while to pick up on that, but I am at this point. I'm beginning to agree with that. That it's not just random tisms that come through.
Wait a second. Okay,
it's built around.
You're trying to tell me someone who is versed in story writing or creative writing or whatever says, "Hey, you know what? I like politics. I like baking. I'm going to insert whatever into my story writing as a teaching tool or whatever." That is not only nefarious. That is dumb. You are lying to people. Mm-hmm. You are inventing stuff with the veiled attempt of trying to teach them something when they're actually learning some other crap, which is don't do this.
What did we learn from Sins of the Father? We learned that Hawk knows more because I read the TV trope paragraph.
Took like 2 minutes. It's like, there it is. I read it. There. Thank you.
We learned that Red is even lying about what the trope is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
she doesn't know.
All you had to do. There's literally a Star Trek episode.
Talks fast.
There's a Star Trek episode called Sins of the Father, and you watch that and you go, "Oh, this is Worf's dad." Oh yeah, it makes sense. His dad did something bad. Sins of the Father. Wow, what a complicated idea.
Yeah, and then figure out the difference between frustration, anger, and wrath. Very different things.
That's
family,
and revenge and vengeance.
Bit more complicated, but yes.
Also retribution.
She should have done that.
Side note,
vindication.
If you're going to teach a complicated subject like a murder plot or a revenge plot, vengeance plot, whatever, know what the hell you're saying. Get the words right. Show examples, and that's it. Don't start rambling. Don't start saying the same shit for 12 minutes.
Oh, also, I have to say, I was rewatching it. And I got confused with amoral and immoral, so I do.
Don't worry, it happens a lot.
I was wrong.
It's fine.
I was wrong in that regard, but hey ho.
I was baffled that despite her whole attempt at explaining that this is a bad thing, don't do bad things. She still had a part in it where she essentially said, "It's okay when we do it." Or it's okay when this one specific side does it against this other specific side.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that part. Yeah, but I've also just realised now that I've just said I apologise for that. I think she did actually mean immoral, not amoral. But she didn't know the difference.
She said amoral.
Yeah, but I know she said amoral, but she also said Sins of the Father as this, and that was completely wrong. So
the first thing you get if you type in amoral to Google is Donald Trump memes.
Oh God.
I'm doing that.
So obviously amoral means it's a good thing.
Yes.
Oh dear.
I thought
essentially what I take from her.
Here is the rest of that super chat. Just watch some of her myth videos or her abysmal Lovecraft video.
Oh yeah, that was really bad.
Oh,
like Lovecraft bad because he racist.
Really? That's it?
What?
But his cat had the best name ever.
Yes. And she makes some concessions that he had a very shitty life and very shitty upbringing, but then still goes on about, but he's still racist.
Did she find obscure references to the Bible for the video?
For that she has time.
What happened to Ham? Did Ham do something with Lovecraft?
You know, it's kind of funny.
Ezekiel 27484. I don't know, whatever.
What I in the end just take from her video is simply the message: do not ever defend or retaliate against your abuser, because someone who likes the abuser might be sad if you do.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the most famous and probably one of the most complicated, not the most complicated, the more unique stories by Agatha Christie was originally I think it was a stage production. It was called 10 Little Niggers. And that was
normal. Is that where the song comes from?
Sorry?
Is that where the song comes from, or is it based on the song?
No, but she bases a lot of her titles on nursery rhymes. So it must have come from that. It must have come from that.
Okay.
But that was too...
It's based on the song.
That was too offensive in like the 60s or whatever, so she called it 10 Little Indians. But that still was offensive. So she had to change it to and then there were none. So, this is the process of right. And there's nothing inherently evil about Agatha Christie. Yeah. She's a great writer. She's one of the best creative writing.
And the nursery rhyme is just about 10 kids who all do something dumb and therefore die. Old nursery rhymes are all very, very mean, if you will.
There's a part of ethics and morals and almost cruelty sometimes with kids dying.
Well,
it's also why the original fairy tales were so dark.
So
Ringa Ringa Rose is about the Black Death. So
yes,
words exist for a good reason, and we can't be scared of them. And if authors are allowed to use them, so should the common man, so long as they understand where the word comes from and why it exists. So don't be scared of these things. Yes, it's obvious.
If you're too soft with your kids, then they will not grow up. 2 will run out into some dangerous situation that they don't know how to handle and die.
Right.
Or worse fates than death.
Like getting expelled.
Anyway, but this is what we're talking about in this video, which are words, and she's going to redefine them because, I don't know, that's what she does. So let's get on with it. We have one more super chat, then we'll get going. This is from John Doe, the average Joe. Thank you, Joe. Found notes on nationalism on the Orwell Foundation's website. The entire thing for free. Awesome. Thought you ought to know, Wisp, and thanks for the recommendation. All right. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, that's awesome, and thanks for spreading it, for spreading the info. Get out there, read the book. If it's free, all the better.
It's free.
Then no one has an excuse because the thing is really short.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, 4 minutes.
Let's get going.
Let's do it.
This 4-minute video is nearly gone for an hour now.
Yeah.
Can I begin and just say that?
Have you ever ended?
Whatever she will come up with, it is plainly wrong. The whole term was made up or used or pressed into a mold that has no bearing in science as it is. The alleged scientist who coined the term was a sexologist named John Money. John Money, very funny name. Rabid communist, and pedophile, and obsessed with proving that what he called gender, like your brain sex, and your physiological sex, being different and independent of each other. The experiment which he used to try to prove this by is took two twin boys, the Reimer brothers, of which one had a botched circumcision. Due to that botched circumcision, they decided, hey, let's make him a girl and bring him and raise him as a girl. So you have an actual twin study about this, if you will. The Reimer brother, and I don't notice the first names anymore, the Reimer brothers were under constant abuse by John Money. The one who got turned into a girl, raised as a girl, hated it, always wanted to play with the toys of his boy brother. And his natural male brother later also described that his mutilated brother seemed to be the only moments when he seemed to be at ease, like somewhat relief when he could play with his toys, with his male toys. And what Money also did was force the two into sexual play with each other, like laying on top of each other and such things, which I have no fucking idea why that happened, and I am honestly scared to read into it because I have nightmares enough. End of the story is the mutilated Reimer brother eventually killed himself. You can guess why. And the other brother followed a couple years later due to the life of abuse and losing his twin. That is usually a very, very hard event for a twin. It's often that it throws the other twins into such depression, especially in such a situation, that sometimes a suicide or just a giving up of the body follows from the grief, from that absolutely deep grief. Because it's like a part of yourself has died, and a physical part. And the longest surviving Reimer brother, that was in the early 2000s, I believe, even wrote a goodbye note, and I don't know, I think even a longer thing at some point. I am honestly scared to look deeper into this whole topic for personal reasons alone. And in that goodbye note, he also wrote that he hopes that he can't go on living, and he hopes that at least his death maybe will get some attention and shed some light on this horrible issue. And guess what? It never did. Because socialists teach the whole John Money case in university as a success of the whole idea that gender and sex are different, while his subjects committed suicide because of all of this. And none of what John Money said worked. Nothing. Because you cannot alter the brain sex of a person, what he calls gender. Gender and sex are not different things. In 99.7% of all cases, they are completely congruent with each other, which means they are biologically linked. Everything else is an anomaly. Like homosexuality. The vast majority of people are not homosexual. That's an anomaly. Most women are not tomboys. That's an anomaly. And that is not that your head gender and your sex are independent of each other. That's just, tomboys have a few male brain patterns. That's where the male interests come from. Homosexuals have slightly different brain areas that more resemble the females. That is about sexual orientation. I think it's behind the what's the name? Hypophyse? Don't know the English name of the that part of the brain. Which is where basically your sexual orientation is the neuronal structures for that are. And in gay people, those are the neuronal structures that women have. That's why they're attracted to men. This is hard biology. There's nothing socialized about this. Yes, you can confuse people with some shit, especially during puberty when everything's confusing. But these things are not independent of biology. And they're not independent of each other, because the statistic is 99.something% is congruent. Everything else is an anomaly. If you say it otherwise, you would have to say that, well, intersex disorders are normal, and they're not. They're natural. They're natural anomalies, but they're not normal, and they're not trisomy 21, Down syndrome. That's something completely normal and has no health issues with it attached. If you'd say, because this is the same topic as the intersex topic, you have a biological anomaly that comes with detriments. That doesn't mean that everything's perfect about you. Gender dysphoria is an anomalous brain development that seems to be normalized through hormone therapy, which is what we're going to get into probably maybe here.
Please.
Although I doubt that Jessie Gender will bring that up. And as I've said numerous times, gender dysphoria is nothing you diagnose under 18.
Wisp. Hey.
Period.
Okay. Thank you. That's great. Let's start the video.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just, because there's just so much about this topic, and people like Jessie Gender get everything wrong, because all Jessie Gender has is socialist pseudoscience that exists solely to justify the blank slate theory, where everything is socialization and nothing is biology.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. That's good to know. Okay, let's
the gender dysphoria issue condition was very early on by John Money, for example, used as a stepping stone and inspiration to create this gender myth in order to facilitate the idea that we can socialize everyone into anything, because if we can do that, then we can, if you remember when I last talked about Nietzsche and explained the overman and the subhuman and the new man that the socialists have in comparison to the overman, that is how they try to justify that they can do this, because they need to create the new man to make socialism, to make communism work. Because with normal humans, it doesn't. They know that. So they need the blank slate theory to work, and that's when they started looking at gender dysphoria, transsexualism, and saw, oh, people go from sex A to sex B. That must probably mean that sex and gender that we now make up are independent of each other. And next magical conclusion is there must be millions of genders between A and B, and maybe even above and beneath and around A and B. And that's how we can justify just socializing everyone into anything, including telling tomboys that because they're interested in male interests, that they must be trans men and they need to transition now.
We understand, but we have to move on with the
video.
Okay,
we have to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wisp,
you chose this fucking topic. You knew what would happen.
We haven't done anything yet, Wisp. We haven't started
I didn't choose it.
Yeah, I haven't even started. She could literally say, "Oh, by the way, John Money is an absolute tool," and Wisp's going to be there going, "Oh, fuck." Yeah, okay.
I would be very happy if that happened. If Jessie Gender subverts my expectations and my prejudices, I am very happy.
Right, okay.
Good. Go.
Right, play.
Girl, man, woman, cisgender.
But first, I just want to say, no, I'm making a joke. Carry on. Just keep going.
No, make the joke. Too late now.
No, it's fine. It's fine, just go.
Gender non-queer.
Gender
Whoa.
Overloading. Oh, shit.
Stop the bullshit. Look at this bullshit.
Oh, God.
Okay.
About how many things do you want me to go into?
That was just you know how we talk about word salads and things? This was just someone's, I don't know, defecating in your ears.
I honestly thought that someone was like, echoing.
Yeah, I thought someone was playing around like Zach or something.
Yeah, I thought, oh, what's happening? Then all this happened. I'm like, what the fuck is all this?
It feels a mix spam from like those old like game servers. Like somebody's.
I mean, no, I know what I mean, but look at some of the shit that's like put on here.
Bi-gender isn't a thing. Gender flux isn't a thing. Non-binary isn't a thing. Genderless isn't a thing.
I don't know.
Trigender isn't a thing. Transmasculine, transfeminine isn't a thing. Cross-gender is a fetish.
Bi-gender, genderless, trans man, gender expression. Okay.
So
there's genderless and gender neutral. What's the fucking difference?
Wait, so what's the difference between what's the difference between transmasculine and trans man then? Biological sex and gender identity and cross-dresser? How is a cross-dresser a gender?
I know.
It's just a fucking fetish.
All right.
I don't see
explain to me the difference between
guys.
I think
gender
like,
neutral.
The point is that like this might be like a general like thing that, like people that don't know like which counts as a gender, or like those people who insanely believe this shit might come to this conclusion that like I don't know like which counts as one. So like probably like this is like a confused intro.
Attack
playing into
helicopter.
that theme.
Regardless, these are just.
Is that an actual thing?
Yeah. Regardless,
Maybe just you would say a few sensible things.
These are just words, and that's a fine intro. I don't care. It doesn't bother. It was scared me because it was so loud, but you know it's fine. Let's hear what she has to say about these things.
With so many gender identities and terms being used, gender can be
those are not gender identities.
To anyone. So what is gender? There are three categories to this conversation: biological sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation. Most people confuse biological sex with gender. Biological sex refers to biological traits
the same
that
thing,
are usually
yeah.
determined by chromosomes. Most
Wow.
people are born male or
No. It's not determined by chromosomes. It is. That's an indicator. Biological sex is determined by the gametes you produce. That is sperm or eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, that is in complete congruence with your chromosomes. Yes. However, you can have chromosomal anomalies, and you can then develop as a functional individual of the opposite sex. That can happen. That is usually very confusing. But for most people, that never even comes up because it's never even checked. Also, the few people that have it, most of them are not even ever identified as such. So this is the first mistake. See, to make these three distinctions from where she's coming from, that's understandable. That's still sane. However, the whole gender identity thing is a nonsensical term in my book.
To be honest with me, once you say you can do it by male or female, yep, that's gender. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, but there's other two categories. No.
Yeah.
No,
and
because
the main thing is that
everything still reverts back to male and female.
Yes.
Because even if you're a trans, you're transitioning from one to the other. So everything always goes back to that. So
yeah, that's what's always
and
biologically.
biologically, it is simply: does your body have the tissue to produce the functional tissue to produce sperm or eggs? Period. That's it. That's biological sex, because that is what is relevant for reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been no case of no documented case of a functioning hermaphrodite in humans, because that would be all over the place, and SJWs would be using that case every fucking day.
Yeah.
There has been no case of a functioning hermaphrodite.
Look how they use that guy in the UK. Well, I say guy, that trans man who still had his womb and everything, hadn't gone through the full transition, and the person got pregnant. And they're saying, look, the first man to get pregnant, when quite clearly it was just a woman who had their breasts.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Oh, goddamn!
I remember my biology teacher in high school told me that. Like, it was
really embarrassing because it looked like Glenn Close in Hook did a more convincing man than this supposed pregnant man.
And there
is.
It looked like what?
You talking about Tinkerbell?
No.
Or Peter Pan, right?
What?
What are you on about, Eric? You watched the film.
You
Hook?
said the actor.
You're confusing me.
Yeah, the actress, Glenn Close.
The actress?
Okay.
The
actress Glenn Close, yes, is a pirate in Hook who goes into the what's the box called?
Davy Jones'
Locker. I can't remember. No, who's seen Hook here? Who's seen Hook?
Yes,
I did. You know when?
Okay, are you talking about the one with Robin Williams, right?
Yes, Hook. Yes. No, I'm talking about the other Hook that stars Peter Bentley or something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a superhero.
Yeah, the one with what superhero? Oh, Jesus, Eric, just playing Red Dead. Anyway, in Hook, Glenn Close has a really bad mustache. Has a really bad mustache and beard, pretending to be a male. And I'm just making a joke about that was a more convincing man than the supposed pregnant man that everyone kept talking about, because I think they actually drew a beard onto this woman with biro in one photo. That's what it looked like.
That's the boo box.
The boo box, yes.
It wasn't a transition.
No, they just. What wasn't a transition? Glenn Close.
No,
all the things. I'm confused now, man. You like Mike Testa?
That's the joke. That's the joke.
Yes, that was the joke.
It was a man with a beard, right? It was the nice looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's Glenn Close.
There is an actual. I don't know the Latin name, the medical name for it. there is an actual condition where biological males do develop a uterus. However, that is very rare and usually not diagnosed, not noticed, because you would need to do an ultrasound of your belly, and men are very rare to ever go through that.
Also,
and it's a very rare intersex condition that is, as far as I know, benign.
That sounds very familiar to a female condition called endometriosis, where they develop various conditions similar to the uterus. It's very painful, and it's throughout the abdomen. It's not just the normal genitals. It could be wherever it was formed. These cells were formed. So it grows outside of that. So that's what people don't know. Oh, this is just your period. No. This is happening all the time. So something is going on, and there's lots of reasons for that. So lots of similar conditions regarding sex cells and not properly aligning during birth. So these things happen.
Yeah. And it is as I brought up before, it is especially the socialists who keep actively all the time conflating biological sex and what they call gender. And and here Jessie Gender admits this, is aware of this, but in other contexts will say gender when meaning biological sex. And in part, I think this is because these people think sex is a dirty word and therefore can't use it. In German, we have the word Geschlecht for that, which is also what we use for words. And for the act, the sexual act, we have the word sex. We also have the word Geschlechtsverkehr, which would be sex traffic. Not trafficking, but which would be, I think the equivalent would be intercourse. Sexual intercourse would be the equivalent.
Yeah, in the UK, we have a term called biological shagging event. So
interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's
let's
let's see what she has to say.
It's like they try to. What I usually seem to do in practice is the eradication of the term sex and replacing absolutely everything with gender. Because the ideology itself is opposed to biological sex, and the conflation of biological sex with gender comes from the intent to make everything just this wobbly, malleable, socialized thing. So that you do not even regard your biology as in any way relevant to what you are.
It's mainly done so that you no longer think for yourself about what you can be. The state can literally assign you something, and they'll say this is because of blah blah blah, and you, as the good little soldier, will just go along with it. That's the idea behind it. That's why they want to get rid of biology, because biology is a fixed thing.
Whereas, and I hate that because you can't make everyone equal if there are fixed biological determinants.
But they can't. But they can't also control people if there's already a fixed thing, because they can't say to a man, "You are a woman," because the guy goes, "No, I'm a man." But if they've destroyed the idea of biology, they can say to a man, "You are a woman." And that person's got to accept it, because the government, the socialist government, who obviously knows best, because that's why they're in charge, has said so. So it's a very Big Brother-esque way of doing things, which is what they want to do. So yeah,
I can't wait.
All right, let's continue.
Yeah.
For female, some people being born intersex. Someone is intersex when they're born without the typical XX or XY chromosomes. For example, a person...
No, that is not everything. And what we... this is already... Your choice of words is horrible on this.
How can you be born without either XX or XY chromosome?
Yes, so, number one, there are hard chromosomal intersex conditions, which is or plainly chromosomal conditions. They do not necessarily result in some intersex condition. On your chromosomes, you have a set of your genes. You have several similar of them. They are there to produce certain proteins and other fun things. So if you have, this is for example the problem with Down syndrome, where you have 3 chromosomes of the 21st pair. So instead of 2, you have 3. So you have an overproduction of the stuff that this pair is producing by 50%. That messes up the body and messes up the development of the body and the brain. Now with the 23rd pair, which is the one determining your largely determining your sexual development. You have the X chromosome, which is the basis, and the Y chromosome, which is basically the mutator. It has one important gene on it, that is the SRY gene. That is the one that induces the development into a male fetus instead of a female fetus. And if that gene is damaged, you can have an XY pair, an XY cardiotype. That's what that's called, cardiotype. But it will still develop into a female because you're missing the SRY gene, because your Y chromosome is damaged. That is similar to being, not exactly the same, but similar to being born with an X0, which means you just have one X instead of XX. That can lead to problems because you're only producing 50% of the stuff that your X chromosome would produce, your pair would produce as a female. And then the other chromosomal issues with the 23rd pair are all combinations of XXY, XXXX, XXXY, and so on. So you have it just continues to be too many chromosomes in the 23rd pair. They're not. There are way worse things, like with most chromosomal anomalies like that, of that type, the fetus just instantly terminates. That's the problem with Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a horrible condition in developmental terms, but apparently not horrible enough to terminate the fetus automatically. And these 23rd chromosomal anomalies, they come with issues, but not necessarily the super hyper mega bad ones. And then you have other issues, like you can have your normal XX chromosomes. However, your body can have or even an XY, and your body can have something that is called complete androgen immunity syndrome, which means that your body completely ignores every testosterone docking onto anything. That fetus will develop female, even if you have an SRY gene. That is an intersex condition. And the thing with that is these females have a lower estrogen level than normal females, because the estrogen isn't competing with the receptors for with the testosterone, because they're in part competing for the same receptors, and so on, and that is not really affecting the chromosomes. Then you have a lot of other intersex conditions, like developing your organs wrong, or like your one gonad not developing, or you could say your one ball isn't dropping, to the point that it isn't even developing from its neutral state, because fetuses do not start female. That was a lie put into the world by feminists. Fetuses start neutral. They go either male or female, and your gonads are neutral in the beginning. Now, example, you have a male fetus, and one of the gonads, for some reason, isn't developing into a testicle, and stays in your belly area. And I'm sorry, I'm lacking English vocabulary here. And the problem with that is, yeah, okay, you only have one functioning testicle. That's not that big of a deal. The problem is this neutral gonad has to be removed at some point surgically, because due to the heat of the body, this thing will turn cancerous years and years later, but it will. So you have to remove it. That's not in any way messing with your sexuality or your sex. But to say this, and this falls under intersex condition. However, you have to deal with this medically. Intersex conditions are not anything benign. They are hard biological things, and they have literally nothing to do with what anyone would want to call gender identity. The weirdest one I think I know is the mosaic condition. Mosaic is when you have two fetuses in the womb, and you have twins from different eggs, one male, one female. That's the one that at least you notice more often, and one fetus is then, because it's too small or underdeveloped, is then absorbed by the other, and then the resulting fetus and then growing human does function normally for the most part. However, depending on when you make a test, you can make several tests, and you will then see from the 23rd chromosomal pair that some of the karyotypes are XX and some of the karyotypes are XY. Because this person has two genetic codes, and the immune system is accustomed with both of them. That's why the body isn't killing itself. It doesn't have an autoimmune reaction, because it's coded to both these, is aware that both of these codes are fine. But these people have several other conditions following from that. So this whole intersex thing is like, I don't know, 20 something completely different conditions under this umbrella, and they have nothing to do with gender dysphoria or with gender identity or any of this other shit. I've talked with a case that was not tested properly and was a female. And she was tested by the NHS, and they determined, oh, you have an XY chromosome in your test, and this will be correct. We're not going to test it again because we're lazy, and this is surely be correct, and we'll put you on male hormones when you go into puberty. And it completely messed her up because she wasn't trans. She didn't have gender dysphoria, but well, she believed what the adults were telling her. Until with 2021, she then tried to detransition, which is really shit because she went through male puberty for the most part of her puberty, and that's not her voice is shit, her body is shit, and you know what the NHS tells her? Well, you don't have gender dysphoria, you're not trans, so everything's fine with you. Goodbye. We're not helping you. They're not helping her detransition, because detransitioning is haram. It's the sin of the socialist, because it disproves anyone detransitioning disproves that this whole thing is malleable. And I know I'm getting off topic here, but the socialists are mixing in every condition they can think of and calling it trans in some form or fashion. Yeah. Sorry. Get on.
All right. Thank you, Wisp.
It's just so much. Every word,
Ladies and gentlemen,
every word that comes up. Sorry.
Okay. Let's kind of relax, have some fun, listen to the wonderful words.
I'm tired already. By the way,
I know.
We started this.
I know.
You're not getting me at full force.
That's okay.
If only.
All right. Here we go.
Person may be born female, but may actually have a male anatomy on the inside. Or a person may be born with genitals that appear between male or female. So biological sex, which determines if someone was born male, female, or intersex, is determined right at birth. Gender identity...
No, not at birth, you fucking idiot! Not at birth. Birth is something that happens like 9 months after conception. The whole bloody thing is determined during the whole process of the fetal development.
Come on, I can easily.
Like you have 1 month of a zygote, and after that, it's a little ball of cells, a little golf ball of mostly equal cells that just specialize after that first month. After that, the zygote turns into a fetus, And then the cells, that's when the cells start to specialize and diversify. And that is the time when the body, when this tiny little body starts being something. And that is when other effects, like the hormonal cocktail in the womb, like the mother's antibodies in the womb, affect the development of that fetus. And that is when your biological sex is formed, because it's when it's developing. It's not at birth, you fucking idiot. Like, right. When is at birth? What is a C-section? You can just do that at a random time. Like, let's say we can get children through since I think the 5th month at this time. So you want to tell me that the fetus has no biological sex until the randomly chosen day between the 5th and the 9th month that you do a C-section, and until then it's Schrödinger's fetus or what? You're retarded, Jesse. From trans woman to trans woman. I'm sorry I don't have this shitty voice. Because of SJWs, my transition had to be halted. Because my health is so shit because of these socialist assholes. And I'm not complaining when people misgender me, because I understand why they do it. I can't fault them for it. Shut the fuck up, Jesse.
Aside from pressing play, and we'll listen to her next, but that's okay.
And now we're at gender is a social construct. No, it is not. It is biologically informed, just like biological sex. That's what I said before. Well, 99% overlap.
Wisp. Let me just jump in, because as someone who's actually had a child, they know the gender a long time before it pops out. You know, at 26 weeks they tell you, but you can clearly see on scans what it's going to be.
You're going to be 99% correct.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. You can't just say, oh, when it pops out, that's when we find out the gender at birth. It's like no. They know what it is quite early on with things. So
yeah,
right, that's my own bit of
yeah, you're right.
So,
and the whole they try to make everything a social construct. The socialists even try to make biological sex a social construct, if you were listening. And it will never stop. And Jessie Gender tries to. I still try to believe that Jessie is just absolutely ill-informed, got into contact with the completely wrong crowd, because Jessie comes across to me like someone who wants to genuinely help, but has absolutely no clue of what's real. That's all.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
And we have so many parents who try to raise their children gender neutral in order to deprive them of these societal stereotypes and the toxic masculinity. And they can't help themselves, but the children, the girls, they will always go for the dolls, and the boys will always go for the trucks, and they just don't know why. And you can read this on social media, where the parent, these progressive, informed hipster parents and feminist parents are always completely baffled and lost that their girls are wanting to wear dresses and like princesses and ponies, and the boys they do rough and tumble play and play ball, and they just can't fathom it that it's and. They always say that, oh, we really try to raise our kid gender neutral, or even with toys of the other sex, and they still go for the stereotypical ones. We don't know what's going on, and some of them wake up due to that. Some of them, not all. Some of them, and it's a giant. In essence, this is John Money's experiment. In a softer form, spread across the globe. and repeat it all over again. And John Money's experiment, by the way, was repeated, I think, over a dozen times worldwide in different countries, and it always had the same results. I'm still well, not currently, but looking for some of these cases, because there will certainly be papers on them. So if anyone has some of these, because I haven't found all of them, send me a link or something on Discord, because this is vital stuff. Anyway, the thing is the whole gender thing is bullshit. Gender is biological. If you want to read more about that and get a rough primer on the whole idea, get Dr. Deborah So's book, The End of Gender, which clears up a lot of these issues, including the so-called asexuality, which many health sites, even like Healthline and Psychology Today, are now pushing as being something completely normal and healthy, that there's no problem with it, when in truth, in over 95% of cases, there is a biological cause leading to a loss of libido. Asexuals do not have no libido. They just have a very, 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 very low libido. And there are various reasons why you can be asexual, which is, as I said, not the right term. You just have a deprived libido. There can be hard cases of depression, hard cases of PTSD, because you are under constant hypertension. That's your body has no time to get into this state, because you're completely in your hyper threat mode of fight and flight. That's no time to have sex. Then it can be other conditions, organic conditions, that deprive your body of certain nutrients or hormones that you're not processing properly. Obesity, for example, can lead to that, because that leads to your adrenaline being processed too much, your testosterone being processed too much, and therefore lowers your testosterone. Therefore, as a man, your sex drive will lower. And because testosterone in the male body, testosterone is recombined in the adrenal gland with cholesterol into a estrogen, what's it called? Let's say substitute. Because the male body does not produce estrogen and the female body does not produce testosterone. They use that innate biological hormones and build a substitute of the other hormone from the hormone they have. Because building hormones is very energy intensive, and the male and female bodies basically use a hack to make the analog is the correct term. Make an analog of the other sexual hormone so that it can dock to where it needs to be. And in the male body, if you have an overabundance of cholesterol because you're too fucking fat, then your whole the balance of your system goes out of whack. So your adrenal gland has this overabundance of cholesterol and thinks, okay, let's process this into the estrogen analog, by which you also eat up the testosterone in the system. This is how obese people feminize themselves accidentally, and why you get some gynecomastia in with obese people, which is man boobs. And the female body, by the way, does not do this process in the adrenal gland, but the what's it called? The not the kidney, but the little head on the kidney. We call it in German. We call it the next to kidney, the Nebenniere. But that's where the female body does the other thing. So this is just one example of how different biologically the male and the female body are. You cannot alter this process. Even we do not have the technology to make this kind of transition. So
this was only about gender identity. We should move on to
I'm just
see the next one, because I think there's gonna be plenty of things.
I just wanted to say that the asexuality is not a thing, because that's also what people use as gender identity for some reason, although it falls into sexual orientation, because they conflate absolutely everything all the fucking time. Because most people have absolutely no clue about anything, so they listen to the first thing they hear of something they have no idea about. That then triggers a primacy effect, so that they believe this thing, the first thing they hear, must be the thing that is, if they didn't doubt it from the get-go. And then you have to talk against that. And the main cause of asexuality, or one of the highest percentages, which completely baffled me, and Deborah so talks about this in her book, The End of Gender, is a benign brain tumor that, if it grows large enough, pushes on a certain brain area, I forgot the name, and that inhibits the sex drive. At some point, you should probably remove that tumor, because it's probably doing worse than just inhibiting your sex drive. But if you remove that, your low sex drive normalizes, because there's nothing pushing on that neuronal cluster anymore. So yeah, if you have a low sex drive, get yourself checked out, see a doctor. In almost all cases, there is a biological reason behind that. This was just important to me because a friend of mine went through exactly that.
All right. Well, we're only a quarter way through, so I guess we're doing okay.
Yeah.
1 hour. That's not bad. Whew. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was away. Wisp, could you repeat that, please? No, I'm joking.
We're recording this for a reason.
Why
don't we just go back to the beginning?
Why don't we just go back to the beginning? Let's go.
Yeah, talk about all these wonderful nonsense words.
Let's see what Jessie Gender has to say about gender identity. Here we go.
Sorry.
Whew.
Jessie Gender is a social construct. That's right, a social construct. Used to characterize traits within a person. People have put these arbitrary ideas of gender.
You are equating personality.
Everything, from genitals, types of clothing, career paths, and even colors. In today's society, tuxedos, penises, the color blue, and a love of football are considered masculine gender markers, while breasts, the color pink, dresses, and a love of Barbies are considered female gender markers.
You're insane. You're already conflating biological sex with this gender identity nonsense.
Right, sorry, I accidentally came out of the watch here because I had a coughing fit. What has she just said? You don't have to rewind. Just give me a brief overview. No, shut the fuck up.
Just go back to the beginning.
No,
just go back, because I'm this is making me really antsy, and
because she said something about colors. We gotta make sure we're
very
getting
short
this right.
fused. I get very short fused today, I notice, and this stuff is riding me up a lot.
It's okay.
Just go back a bit, and then Hawk can know what Jessie said.
Yeah, because I want to know too.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so wait, tuxedos.
The color blue and a love of football are considered masculine gender markers, while breasts, the color pink, dresses, and a love of Barbies are considered female gender markers. Many see gender as real.
No.
What?
No.
Now, Jessie herself made the conflation that breasts and penises are just social constructs in the realm of what a gender is. And
I guess I'll have to tell my friend's girlfriend she can't support that football team because it's a male thing to do.
And the whole thing is what Jessie accidentally laid out here is that the whole term gender they had thrown in everything they could ever think of, and most of that is even personality and interest, and now they threw in biological traits.
Yeah, this is
just horrible, and they use this false language, for example, of sex or gender is signed at birth. That's not what's happening. In medicine, you do not assign a condition. You assess someone, and due to that assessment, you draw a conclusion that is hopefully highly likely, and therefore make a diagnosis, if you will.
If
But sex
if you're being told,
it's observed and assessed, it's not assigned.
Yeah, no, but if you're being told you're a man because you like football and you have breasts, no, that's fucking. Wearing a tuxedo doesn't make you just.
Well, it's basically the I don't remember who said it, and I have to write it down because it was a really good way to put it. Is that the Christian conservatives say that because you are a man or woman, you have to do X. So a man, for example, in the most extreme case, a man does not cook, which is historically wrong, nonsense. But just for example, man does not cook. Someone who wants to insult you, I think it was done with 3 insults. But I can't come up with the whole thing anymore. And the insult would be, if you are cooking at home or in your marriage, then you are acting like the woman in your relationship. Now,
cooking, cleaning, and
but what the socialists are now doing is, because you are cooking, you are the woman. And therefore everything else follows. So what they are doing, what the SJWs, the communists are doing, is, while they say they are against stereotypes, which they also call toxic stereotypes or harmful stereotypes, is they are actually hyper-enforcing them. They're hyper-enforcing them because they say, oh, if you are acting like a man or like a woman, you have to transition into that sex. Where the old Christian conservatives said, for example, you have a boarding school for girls, and there's one girl that doesn't want to knit and doesn't want to do the dance classes, but instead wants to go out with the boys and play football, for example, or go into the wood workshop and do stuff. And she's told, no, you are a girl, those are boy things, you must change your behavior. The SJWs now are using the exact same logic, just turn the arrow around and say, oh, you are interested in the boy things, therefore we must correct your biological sex and transition you. And this is where this meme of the war on tomboys comes from, which is an actual thing they're doing. Because a tomboy has male interests, and in the SJW world, that cannot exist. That must be a trans man, because their sex stereotypes are as hard, if not harder, than the old Christian conservative ones.
Well, I think when you started,
that's where this whole social construct thing comes into play, because instead of destroying the social construct, they're hyper enforcing it.
Well, when she started listing qualities like colors and body parts as male or female, I think that's conflating many things.
Yeah, what color you like.
The colors are even historically nonsense, because
before 1912 in the UK, sorry,
the colors were switched, and not just in the UK.
The colors. But that's my. I could only say 100% for my own country because I didn't know if it was true for other ones.
Oh, it's all around, so, because do you know why?
I don't really pay much attention.
The pigment for red and pink was very expensive, and male children were held on higher regard than female children. So they clapped.
Red pigments
if you could achieve
red pigments weren't expensive.
If you could afford it, like the aristocracy, the royals, when they could afford it, they would dress their male children in red and pink because to show off their wealth and status.
Yeah. Well, in the UK, red was quite widely, very easily got hold of as a dye because the reason why we had
it depends on the type of red.
Well, yeah, because the reason why we had red coats for our troops because it was so easily, it was the cheapest option.
Yes.
I mean, that's the pink is a special. It's a special form of red.
It's the same with
like the royal purple. The royal purple is a very special purple.
Yeah, it's the same with the color of barns in America. the main reason they're red is because it's the cheapest paint you can get. So whatever produce makes that dye, I don't know, is easily accessible. But that's America, so who knows what happens there. Anyway, we're making good time.
Yeah. So putting these into these categories is just wrong because it's arbitrary. And the social justice warriors are not making any real attempts in dismantling the gender stereotypes, if you will. They're just enforcing them. The only time you see them trying to dismantle them is when they paint themselves in these random colors and weird hairstyles and say, I am this magical gender that I just made up. I am a zodiac gender or something. Which I think is even a thing.
Yeah, but they still have certain rules for those made-up genders. It's like the stuff in regards to even like, because they do the same stuff with race. You're not acting black enough, or you've got to act white. You can't understand. A white person can't understand a black person because they're different. Because a white person has to act a certain way. So when it comes down to sex, they still have the sex stereotypes, the gender stereotypes. Like you must be a woman because there's no way a man and woman can understand each other.
Yeah, and it's the same with political sides. Like if they think you are of roughly of a certain political position or persuasion, then they what's the word? Insist that you behave and think a certain way that is completely stereotypical, 100% predictable with the stereotype that they have about that. You have to have all the dogma of that side, no exceptions, because that's what they are doing with their own.
Well, the reason for that is stereotypes are easier to mold than free will, and that's the thing. If everyone's part of a stereotype, they can control what the stereotype is.
But I think stereotypes are bad.
No, stereotypes are bad.
I think even the stereotypes are bad is a remnant of the time of the 90s when we were all about
stereotypes.
There's
a reason for stereotypes.
Yeah, we just ignore stereotypes like skin color,
but
and just judge each person individually. Stereotypes themselves, yes, they do exist for a reason because they are an average of a certain demographic.
Mm-hmm. Yes. By the way, let's keep going with this video, and I know if you're going to say you've got a lot of stuff to say about this sort of stuff, but I think the best thing we can do is, because it's short, let her just go through a segment, at least a segment for each thing, and we'll be able to get through this like really quickly, and also it'll allow you to what's the word, like not concentrate, but make stuff. Say your point. So you don't.
I'm currently better off focusing on detail at a point instead of, because of this mental shit I'm going through. I don't have a big attention span. It's a problem.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Fine. I was just saying because we're going halfway through a point.
And Hawk, you really don't sound well today.
I'm not really well today, to be honest with you. I'm really coming down with a cold, and I'm really struggling to stay awake with stuff. So, but I do want to see this video out.
All right,
it's fine. I've got.
But you're playing Red Dead, huh?
No, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just lying on my sofa with a cup of tea.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Real at birth, or a binary split between masculine and feminine. Yet these gender markers are not determined by your biological sex. They are ideas that we tend to assign a person based on sex. However, put simply, gender is how you see yourself. Biological males are given the masculine gender of boy, and biological females are given the feminine gender of girl. This is known as assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth. Many people feel
I just went over this.
With their assigned gender based on biological
sex.
Just listen. These people are considered cisgendered.
Oh god,
only by
this word.
Okay. only...
I fucking hate that word. Like, if I see like anyone like name like heterosexual, cisgendered, I'm just like, stop.
Yep.
Go away.
It just triggers me. It's like, shut up. I don't care.
Yeah, the only place where the term cisgender has a remote credibility to be used, I know that's the wrong word right now, is within a scientific paper in order to be more clear and concise in your analysis and in your when you speak about your test groups.
But what's wrong with heterosexual word itself? Like, is it because it's Latin?
Yeah. What are you talking about right now? Why are you talking about heterosexual?
Because like, why is it cisgender? Like, seriously, can you explain?
No, okay. Cis is is. Oh God, that has nothing to do with sexual orientation.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. So cisgender is when you are when you're assigned when you're assigned male.
No, cisgender is simply when you do not have gender dysphoria. End of story.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you are literally just your gender, which you are.
So this is from the Latin root of cis on the same side, trans on the other side, on the opposite side, or someone with Latin can use the better English description of this. Like, imagine you have an X, and in the cis variant you have the A's on one side and the B's on the other side. In the trans variant you have the A's and B's crisscrossed. Like, if you go around the square at the edges, you would say it goes at AB. That is all that means. You will find this terminology in chemistry, where it is useful. In everyday speech for this whole thing, cisgender is not a term that should ever be used, because the only way it is ever used is to talk in a denigrating fashion about people who are not trans, who do not have gender dysphoria. It is solely used as an insult, and it is solely used in order to make it look as if being normal, being healthy, is a deviancy equivalent to being trans, which it is
like,
not.
I remember, like,
trans
when
is the
Shatner
thing
was
that
called
is
like
the anomaly.
cisgender, and he was like insulted by it, and then people made a fuss about it, that like, oh, like Shatner didn't accept being a cisgender or something like that.
Yeah, but it's like, just but Shatner was
stupid.
right. Shatner was right to be insulted because this is not a word you use. Cisgender solely effectively just means healthy, normal human being.
And Jessie Gender made a video about that. I think we talked about slightly.
Oh yeah, she did. Oh
What about Shatner's response to it?
And she had this horrible explanation. We sat through about 15, 20 minutes of it. It was just like, oh my God, this is confusing. Whatever the hell she was talking about.
So,
this term
I remember,
has
like,
nothing
did
to
she
do
call
with...
her like transphobic for this?
I'm not sure exactly
was that
what
a different
she said.
video?
Honestly, it was confusing.
They all look the same.
It's the same. It's the same story. Yeah. Well,
so
we're half done. So that's how fast that takes.
That's So to sum it up, this cisgender, transgender thing has nothing to do with sexual orientation. It's solely saying, does this individual have gender dysphoria or not? On top of that, of course, comes the SJW nonsense of everything being trans now. You can ignore that, you can scrap that, but in the SJW sense, a tomboy, a girl that has male interests, is trans. Because the interests, what I say, gender identity, which has nothing to do with her sexuality or with her biological sex, because a tomboy does not have gender dysphoria. A tomboy is fine with her body, and she may even be, or most likely be, heterosexual and a loving mother later on. However,
that may be true, but when someone tries to indoctrinate me like that, I just look at them like I want to kill them, and they just run away, and it always works.
Good. I would recommend that to everyone who wants to indoctrinate their children.
Yes. Just tell them that, like, I'm part of the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Anyway, Yeah, because the tomboy has male interests, that for the SJWs is an indicator that this tomboy is not actually a tomboy, but is trans because she is not fulfilling 100% the stereotype of what they call cis female. And therefore, this tomboy now needs to transition. They do this with boys and girls everywhere. If you do not 100% fit the stereotype, they tell you must be trans, therefore you must transition. Because we fear you will kill yourself otherwise. Which, the sad irony is that all these false transitions that they're pushing, of course they regret it, because they realize this is a mistake. Later on, their bodies are ruined, often infertile, and then they kill themselves because of that. That is the real tragedy, and they do not talk about this because it ruins their narrative. Anyway,
yes.
I hope I managed to clear this up a little bit here.
All right.
More than Jessie did. Thanks.
Gender identity matches your biological sex. But for some people, their assigned gender identity doesn't feel right. So when a person's biological sex does not line
because
up
of
with
idiots
their
like you.
identity,
Yes,
they're
see?
considered transgender.
See,
Exactly
exactly what I just said. She lumps in interests and says, therefore you're trans.
We're gonna start making "Wisp is always right" shirts now.
If Botan makes the pictures, I'm okay with that. I'd feel honored because I am wrong on things. But on this shit, we have to figure this out in the Thunderdome.
So you're biologically male or female, but you think you're the other gender, therefore you're transgender.
Yeah.
Really?
That's her take. I've talked about how gender dysphoria, the one thing that makes you transgender, as they now call it, because they wanted to get away from the term transsexual, because sex is a dirty word and it refers for them too much to the biological thing. However, the point is, I am not transitioning my what they call gender. My interests are the same. My sexual orientation is the same. Everything in my head, my personality, my fucking everything is still the same. I am not transitioning that. What I am trying to transition to the point where, as it's possible, and not everything that is offered is actually a good option, is the body, because that is where the problem lies. Because the brain thinks it's interacting with the body of the opposite sex. The best way I've managed to put it, and thankfully a lot of other trannies have agreed with that description, much more than with all these stupid slogans that are so easily misinterpretable, like, I feel like I'm born in the wrong body. That is too easily misinterpretable, because the SJWs often go by, I do not feel like a man. Yeah, that's because you're a wimp. I don't feel like a woman. Yeah, it's because you just hate your puberty. Congratulations, that's most girls. The way gender dysphoria feels like is, imagine if you know what a ghost limb is. That is like you lost a limb, but your brain still thinks it's there. So you have this locked state of this limb that's there. And that, thankfully enough, is a solved problem. With gender dysphoria, imagine this ghost limb is a phantom superimposed over your entire body. Like you're a little out of shape. Like you're in case of a man with gender dysphoria, your brain thinks your hips are wider than they are, so that you do not think you could fit through a narrow passage, for example. While you actually can easily. And you can get this updated a little bit consciously, but subconsciously you will still have this feeling of, I'm actually wide, I shouldn't fit through this. This is similar to a child having a growth spurt and the brain has to update, oh, I'm taller now, I can't run beneath the table because I hit my head. And it usually happens by the kid hitting his head a few times by running against the table, which probably lots of people have memories of, or at least memories of their children doing that. The thing with the gender dysphoria thing is, this thing is not going away. Like this a feeling of slightly different height, but that's a benign problem. The hip thing, benign problem. what is a problem are more obvious things, like breasts, for example. The presence or absence of them, while your brain thinks the opposite should be. So the brain is either expecting signals that it's not getting, which is throwing up error messages in your head, or, in the case of a trans man, a woman with gender dysphoria, she has breasts. However, I'm talking biological here to make this to keep it easy. But her brain thinks there shouldn't be coming any of these hypersensitive signals, and this weight shouldn't be there, and it shouldn't be that far out in the chest shouldn't be that far out in space, that far away from the torso. So the brain is throwing error messages because of that. Because the brain thinks, why am I getting these signals when I have this blueprint here of a male body? What the fuck's going on? The most obvious part of that is, of course, the genitals. However, the surgeries for that are shit. That's why many people with real gender dysphoria are not doing them. Not because they don't want to. If there was better technology available, more would do it. That's just that part. Anyway, that is the whole gender dysphoria thing. That is what transsexuality and transgender, as it's called now, and they will probably make up another word again, actually is. And none of these other things, like I'm socially transitioning, I'm cross-dressing, I'm whatever, I'm demigender, I'm astrogender, that has nothing to do with this. It's absolutely nothing to do with this. Another thing is, for example, your brain judges your own looks by the biological sex it expects to see, like when you look in the mirror. And that is why people with gender dysphoria usually find themselves rather displeasing or ugly in the mirror, because the brain expects the other sex. And the most fit man, the most chiseled man, will just be an ugly woman. And the most pretty woman will not be a very attractive man, simply put. And that is that. And the weird thing is that through the hormone therapy, not just the brain normalizes it a bit, but also due to after longer exposure, the fatty tissue on your face shifts a little bit. And even though you're not at the other end of the sexual spectrum, if you will, of beauty, even just getting closer to that tells your brain, yeah, I can live with that. That's okay. So it's not about looking like the perfect Barbie doll. It's just about, that looks okay. And this is really odd, because you can have been a good-looking guy before. Like I had this instance where after a couple years in the dojo, I got a natural six-pack, and I noticed that once in the shower and thought, oh, that's odd, where'd that come from? Because I wasn't training for this. It was just a natural product of regular training. And I thought, that's strange, because, well, I should be proud of this or anything, or be happy about it, but it just felt wrong. I just didn't like it, and I knew why. And this just hit the whole issue home. That, yeah, this just doesn't fit. My brain is not happy with this, or rather the opposite. I mean, can you imagine any man? Can you imagine not being happy about having a fit upper body? That's just stupid. And yeah, and that's that. And they this whole transgender term to insert this nonsensical, made-up gender nonsense by John Money and the rest of the blank slatists, in order to now put on all this fan fiction, all this pseudoscience, if not anti-science, on it, to now say everyone is trans. So everyone can transition. And there are people, and I am starting to be inclined to jump onto that train, to say that as much as they're pushing this, and don't give a fucking shit about the false positives that they drove into transition and are now infertile, and even on the brink of rather killing themselves, while they say they need to do this to not kill themselves, it seems more and more to me, and while I'm starting to agree with it rather, to many people, like this is just another aspect of the whole let's reduce population growth scheme. Because there's just, whether that is the case or not, it certainly has that effect, because there's so many people now who cannot reproduce or even kill themselves because they're pushed into transition, because of this pseudoscience and because of the removal of what they call gatekeeping, which is proper diagnosis. And when there was just recently a case, I don't know, what was it, UK or Canada or something, or United States, of a guy, I think 21 or something, and he was just depressed, and his therapist talked him into being trans, and put him on hormones, and just, I think even just 3 months later, chopped his testicles off, and then realized, oh, this was a mistake. And even the process of just 3 months, usually, and if you have proper regulations like we still have in Germany, I hope we still have them, is that any genital operation is you're only eligible for after 2 years of hormone therapy. The same goes, by the way, with breast augmentation. I think that's at least 6 months, if not a year, because you need to make sure that the natural tissue has grown out for the most part. Because if you do your breast augmentation before, then your body is just going to make shit, and that will skew the results of your operation. So you have to wait. But the SJWs are going, oh no, you have to do immediately and no waiting and everything right now, and they don't give a fucking shit about anything that's really healthy. Your health is not at their interest. And your children's health is not in their interest. They have some other interests. Rant over.
Okay. As I said before,
this rant's over.
We're more than half done. I think we all understood pretty much what Wisp was getting at, that the term is now used loosely as opposed to how it should be used. So, okay.
Yeah.
As loosely as a rag doll.
Feeling that it doesn't wholly represent their gender identity. On the flip side, though, many transgender people do feel comfortable with their genitals, but are not comfortable with other aspects of their gender identity. So while genitals can be a part of a transgender person's gender identity, they don't have...
Bullshit. The whole gender identity thing is complete bullshit. That is nothing you... They act as if it's something you choose at times. And that also to RSG, I do not identify as anything. I am. That's the difference. They identify. That's an outside thing. That is what you do for role playing, for playing a role in a theater, for putting on a costume. That's what identifying. You, if anything, you identify other people, but you do not identify yourself. Yourself, you are, and you explore yourself. You develop your personality, but you do not identify yourself, because that's an outside thing. Being is something that comes from the inside. And this is why, for example, misgendering in the outside world, as long as I don't open my mouth, that doesn't happen to people. Is interestingly enough. So this is just something this is just a part of therapy I'm missing, and it pisses me off. Point being, that can't hurt me. Misgendering can never hurt me, because no matter what you call myself, what you call me, sorry, I slipped. No matter what you call me, no matter how you insult me, that does never change who and what I am on the inside. You can never get to that. And the SJWs, for them, it's all an outside act. And the act you can easily attack, because that is that is 100% linked to their ego. And so when you attack their fantasy that you make up, you can easily shatter that. But you cannot shatter my being. These people have not a developed being, if you will. Getting a bit Jungian here, sorry. You wanted to say something?
Nah, it's fine.
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's delusional.
I really am sick. The tea, it does nothing.
I have some. You can have some of mine.
I thought it was
Good-
lumbago.
good stuff. Get some. Make some tea from what's it called? Ginger, sweetwood. I don't know what that's called. It's the stuff you make licorice from, and put some honey into it. Yeah, 10 minutes. Let it soak 10 minutes in
milk.
in hot water, and that clears your throat like nothing else, and is full of vitamin C.
I would just go for the
You want
liquor.
some jelly beans?
No jelly beans.
What was that, Smud? What do you say, Smud?
I would just say go for the liquor. That'll clear your throat up.
Not liquor. Liquor.
Yeah. I've got this from drinking too much liquor.
Oh, really?
I've got.
No. Licorice, not liquor.
Licorice. Oh, sorry. I thought liquor.
Oh,
Sorry.
hell. Go for the
This
whiskey.
Also not a limerick.
40%, man. Go for it.
No. Well, the problem is the pubs are all open indoors, and I've been mingling with people indoors for the first time in like a year, in like a large numbers. So I've now, for 2 nights, I've been out. So I've obviously caught something somewhere, like just a normal
You got
cold.
the COVID, dude.
Yeah, hopefully
You're gonna
now.
die.
Oh well, it's fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but the Guinness was
Nice
worth it.
having you here, Hawk. If
Yeah, the
there's
Guinness-
like
the Guinness-
anything
the
you
Guinness
want
was
to
the-
write in your obituary, then this is the best time.
Don't worry,
I
we'll
don't-
put
best
your
time to
grave
say
on the top of the mountain.
I think all the alcohol in the system will probably kill the COVID cells.
I don't think there's anything in my body apart from
Just
alcohol,
make sure you
to be
wear
honest
like
with
4
you.
or 5 masks in your face.
Mhm.
100%.
No, but
Nothing
I think
apart
I've
from
just got.
alcohol. That's how you know it's working.
I think it's just the fact that it's just a normal cold, but my body's. I've been perfectly healthy since March last year, since the start of lockdown. I've had no illnesses.
Oh,
So-
how convenient.
And now that everything's opened up again, and my body's got something, it's like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is this? What did we do? I don't know. We've got a file somewhere, and the file's like been burnt. So yeah.
Hey, your immune system needs something to do. Also, do you take enough? Do you have vitamin D at home? Do you take that supplements?
I don't take supplements because I usually I have quite a good diet of food.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to get vitamin
No
D from
vitamins
food.
here.
And the problem with lockdown is that we have all stayed indoors, and the main thing that where we metabolize vitamin D is in the sun. When we don't get out, we don't do that. And vitamin D is the
goes
main
out
building
every
block
day.
for the immune system.
Yeah, I go
totally.
out every single day. I always have a walk every single
Not
day.
even a
Yeah.
lockdown can stop him.
Just get
Good,
that.
that's
Yeah,
good.
no,
That's good to
not
hear.
even lockdown. Not even lockdown. Yeah, I go out walking every single day.
That's good to hear.
So yeah, so the vitamin D stuff, and also I live in England. We don't get that much sun anyway, so it's.
Yeah.
Also, so like you're really.
Yeah,
white.
that's a problem. Because the basic problem with that is there is no actual flu season. There is a low vitamin D season, and the weakened immune systems are what make us susceptible to things like the cold or the flu or whatever.
I'm sure
not the flu.
after tomorrow. I'm going to be perfectly fine. It's just like right now I've just got coughs and sniffles and I'm sprawled out on my sofa.
So anyone
Just
who
like-
wants to stay healthy during the lockdown, get yourself some supplements. There's like a gummy
Just stay away
bear
from
with
me.
vitamin D or something. Just get yourself some. Just
stay
don't
far-
overeat.
yeah,
Just
Okay.
build your basics.
Okay, guys. Yeah, we're still doing well. Everything's great.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's go.
To be a major factor or even a factor at all. Outside of genitals, feeling
Bullshit.
transgender can just be a general uncomfortability with being treated as one.
Uncomfortability, is that a word?
It is
I-
now.
It is in the dictionary of red because those words don't mean what they think they mean.
So what's comfortability?
So you take the word
Comfort? You
uncomfortable
mean comfort?
and you take the word ability and you slam them together.
Ability.
I see you're getting the.
It's discomfort.
Ginga, where are you? Are you in
Yeah,
your kitchen?
Wait,
Where
a
am
good
I,
example
or-
of a compound word you don't need.
Gingaman. Gingerman, where are you? Because when you just said something, you sound like you're in like.
He's in Roma
like
right now.
Like the sewers.
You sound like you're in like either the sewers or an empty museum.
Like you're planning a heist and you're in the middle of some sort of crawl space.
Yeah. I'm in the ventilation just above the diamond. I'll call you back later.
Anyway, since Jesse brought up the there are trans people who are fine with their genitals. Then they're not trans.
They're not
period.
Trans. Yeah,
and you do not have gender dysphoria, because this is the most obvious part of where you have this phantom issue. Can you even remotely imagine what sex feels like with genitals that feel like they shouldn't be there? And your body craving a type of sexual intercourse that it simply cannot have when you are sexually aroused. It is absolutely brain fucking. And the thing is, with hormone therapy, most of the dysphoria goes down to a level where the dysphoria that remains obviously with the genitals, because they're so different from the other sex, is just manageable. So you say, okay, the technology for that is shit, but I think I can live with this, and at least the stuff I have biologically functions. It is I can physiologically stimulate it. It's not what my brain really wants, what I internally crave, but it works. That's what people do. If you do not have an issue with your genitals, you do not have fucking gender dysphoria, and you are not trans, you're something else. And there's a lot of these people, a lot of them have other personality issues, disorders, and their main problems are that they just do not like themselves. They do not like who they really are, because they're boring, or they despise themselves for other reasons, and that is just trying to get away from themselves. And they go into a random direction. And that's what they then call trans, when it's not. Because the whole gender dysphoria thing is, if you think magnets, it's an attractive force. It's a force of attraction. We exactly know this is where we need to go. This is where we need to be. We even know the goal. We just can't reach it. And with these people, they're just repelled by themselves into a random direction. That's how I would put it, metaphorically speaking.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and a good psychotherapist would figure this out.
Jesus.
Well, no, I like that. Repelled by themselves.
No. It was a really good thing. It's just the way that you just sound like, yeah, cool. Anyway.
Thank you. That you like that.
No.
It took me years to come up with these things.
Well, yeah.
So, Wish, I wanted to ask you, what do you think of all these people that come out as openly trans and they're very very proud? Not proud, they're just not embarrassed. They're just like, yep, this is no big deal. This is just what I am. Like, what do you think of them?
They do not have an issue, because having gender dysphoria is painful. It is constant psychological pain.
So you're saying they don't have gender dysphoria? Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't. They don't.
Okay.
If they're happy, they don't have gender dysphoria. Simply put, and because if you meet people with gender dysphoria, you can usually tell for several reasons. For one, they have ingrained mannerisms of the other sex, and that they're not not aware of. Some try to suppress them in order so that nobody picks up on it, and but there is always something you don't know that you're doing, and it's not like this flamboyant thing that some gay people do, like this hyper feminine caricature. But instead, it's subtle, normal things that the other sex does, like certain movements. Certain hand movements, how you move your arms, how you move your body, how you, for example, I tried to suppress a lot of that when I was in my teens. What I didn't know was that the few moments when I was in a really good mood, was that, and there were 3 people who told me this individually, that, Well, I was apparently swinging my hips, but not in this exaggerated way, but just in a subtle feminine way. I wasn't aware I was doing that. How should I be? When I'm in a good mood, I'm callous, and I don't notice what I'm doing. And another thing, and this is very personal, and this happened 4 times. Also completely different women that don't know each other. 4 times. Heavy cuddling for the most part. Didn't get to sex in those cases. Mainly, well, it was a bit one-sided, let's say. But all of these 4 women all said, and are very confused, and they didn't want to hurt my feelings, but it was just so confusing to them that they had to say, it's really, really weird, and I don't want to hurt you, but I had the feeling I was cuddling with a girl. And that was before my transition, before I started that. And it's just the second time that happened, the first time was scary to me. The second time I thought, what am I even trying to hide? Because men and women act and behave differently in sexual intercourse, in cuddling. They do it differently. They move differently. And these women were honest enough with me to tell me that. This is not something you can learn. This is not something you learn from TV or that anyone teaches you or socializes you into. It's not a social construct. It's innate behavior. It's like things women, when they are sexually aroused to a high degree, they get a reflex and urge to spread their legs. Men, as far as I know, don't get that because that kind of wouldn't work. You know, when you get when the man spreads his legs, and how are you gonna get your thing in when the girl also spreads her legs? And if she doesn't spread her legs, it's kind of hard getting into that. And another thing is exposing your neck. That's also a thing that women do. That's part of the submissive part of the sexual play. That is the natural urge to turn your head around and expose your neck, because that's a submissive stance. That's what many other animals do when they play for or fight for dominance. And the animal that loses, whether it's for play or in a serious fight, the animal that loses then lowers its head and exposes the neck in order to show, I am at your mercy. I
because the next
I submit to you.
Spot into it.
Yeah, and women have a higher tendency to have this urge to expose the neck during sex than men do. Mm-hmm. And if you have gender dysphoria, you have some of these behaviors of the other sex during sexual intercourse. And that is just the most blatant. That's why I'm bringing this up. This is innate stuff. This is biologically informed stuff. And I went a bit off the rails.
Yeah, don't worry. I just want to know
general gender dysphoria thing.
I just want to know your opinion of these other people, and I think
these other people are they're nonsense. Because okay. Yeah, right. Thank you for bringing that back. The people who have the actual gender dysphoria,
we can agree that transgenders are terrible.
Pain. The transgenders are happy. They're having fun because they're getting attention. That's what they are doing it for. They thrive on attention and feeling special. Someone with gender dysphoria just doesn't want to feel like shit. Just doesn't want to feel in pain. And that pain comes from the inside. It doesn't come from the outside. If you have gender dysphoria, you're not being bullied for being trans. If anything, because you are in psychological pain due to the gender dysphoria, you may be psychologically exhausted and depressed, and bullies pick up on your mental weakness right now, your psychological weakness, let's say, your emotional weakness, and target you because of that. But not because of you, but not because you're trans, because they don't know you're trans.
So you would say that none of these people you've seen online have gender dysphoria based on their personality or behavior?
99% of people definitely don't. They have probably narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, or histrionic personality disorder, which is a state attention seeking. And there are probably, at this point, some kids with actual gender dysphoria, people with actual gender dysphoria within that, because this is just such a giant dragnet, and it's ever present, and it's the dominant, it's the dominant narrative that's being spread. That's why some people with actual gender dysphoria are falling for this bullshit. And I've met some of them at congresses years ago already that definitely had gender dysphoria, but due to the ideology, got stuck midway, like they admitted to be trans, and then only socially transitioned and never sought an actual therapist to get an actual diagnosis and properly transition or figure out that they're actually not trans. And that I find also abhorrent, because if you have gender dysphoria, actual gender dysphoria, and take the steps to be open about being trans, and then don't do the actual diagnostic process and transitioning in regards to hormone therapy, which is the most important part, as I said, lowers the feeling of dysphoria by about 80%, I would say, within weeks. If you deprive yourself of that, all you do is get yourself all the social attention, which can be negative attention. So you get all the life problems of this I'm not essentially just cross-dressing, and maybe not even well. But you don't relieve yourself of your gender dysphoria, because cross-dressing isn't going to relieve yourself of your gender dysphoria if you have it. A cross-dresser is completely fine with cross-dressing in public. A cross-dresser gets off on that. And another thing on gender dysphoric people. Some, not all of them, but some seem to have, in the case of trans women, that's men with gender dysphoria, seem to have different variants of effeminate features, some more than others, but that also seems to be, there seems to be a correlation there. So if you see these very masculine types, that some can have real gender dysphoria, but it is legit to question whether that is an actual false positive. This is why it's so important to have proper diagnostic processes, and why it is so important that we get better diagnostic tools like brain scans, which can, according to studies done in recent years, predict the gender dysphoria status of a patient by nearly 100%, like upper 90s of the percentage scale. And that is a tool that could be available, or could be available soon, but the SJWs, you can imagine, are waging war against it, because that would, for one, determine transsexuality, gender dysphoria, being biologically informed. Secondly, it would introduce what they call gatekeeping. And thirdly, erase trans identity. And this whole, because it torpedoes this whole process of self-identification as trans, which is an admission that it's just a Münchhausen syndrome lie. Münchhausen syndrome is when you claim you have a condition that you do not have in order to get attention. Like needing a wheelchair and being unable to walk while you can actually walk fine. Just the most blatant example. Yeah. That's just that. There are also Münchhausen by proxy cases, but that's another topic. That's where we get child abuse from, social justice obsessed parents from, that use their children as a means of getting attention for, look how special I am, I'm caring for the special child. In classic cases, that is parents who harm their children and then want pity or fame for caring about this horribly harmed child. And in the case of this whole trans thing, they're obsessed with their child being trans when it's not. It's where we get these, oh, my 6-month-old child is gender non-conforming or non-binary or trans. And it's just bullshit, because that's not how it works.
All right. Okay. Thanks for the response. Let's keep on going.
Treated as one when you feel like the other. A trans person who is assigned male at birth but identifies as a woman is considered a trans woman. A person who is assigned woman at birth but identifies as a man.
It's not about
is considered
identification.
A trans man. Remember,
as I said, not about identification. It's not
is
assigned.
different than gender identity, which is how you identify in your head and in your heart.
It's not about
Third component is
identification.
Sexual orientation. Sexual
heart?
orientation is itself an entire spectrum of identities.
Yeah, that was also bullshit right now, wasn't it?
Heart and head, yeah, that's
Identify in your heart and your head?
What the hell does that mean?
Isn't the heart's purpose to pump in blood, right?
No, even metaphorically, it's bullshit.
I know.
Blood can have its own gender.
I wouldn't take that.
Didn't you know?
Don't take that literally.
It's
just
be.
It's just about feeling.
Why be research about?
Ah, come on. That's no.
I'm sorry, I'm not in.
We're talking about science. We shouldn't be talking metaphorically.
But this video exists.
As I said, you can measure
it. Stop talking about science.
Measure all of this. You can measure all of this stuff, and the SJWs don't want us to measure it because then 90+% of them would just be proven to be bullshitting everyone.
Oh no!
Our real problem is
anyway,
the whole B cluster of personality disorders, and that's what's driving the radical left right now. It's the B cluster of personality disorders, narcissism and other abusive, manipulative shit, like attention seeking and all of that. I went over that. Yeah, you were saying?
Yeah. Right. What were you saying?
Huh?
And if
what are you saying?
I don't know. Let's
just move on.
Oh my God, Gingerman, you're still here. Okay, cool, excellent.
Came back from the museum.
You still playing Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Not right now. What are we on?
Not right now. Not right now, he says as he puts the controller down.
Almost through.
Be a man, just accept that you're doing something else other than watching the video.
I'm telling you, if sexual orientation hadn't already been its own thing, they would try to lump it, and I think at some points they are trying to lump it into the whole trans thing. That is, if you are not the perfect stereotype of a sex, then you must be trans, which in the case of homosexuality would fulfill that, because you're not acting, you do not have the interests of a normal man or woman.
See, that's why that's what always gets me confused, is because they never go to a gay person. Oh, you might be trans because you want to sleep with another man. That's something that a woman should do. They just sort of like leave it alone.
Wait, there was the
lesbians and say that sort of stuff. So it's very weird. They seem to be more interested in turning heterosexual people into something else. That seems to be their
gays,
goal.
Or anything.
They want to. It's almost like they see a heterosexual person as someone that they need to
correct
down.
that.
No, not correct it.
Yeah,
it's not to correct it. It's to break it, to destroy it, because it's something that they can't. They don't think they can achieve. So instead of striving to it, like
I've had
to be heterosexual, but what they do is their natural thing is to just destroy. So they automatically want to destroy heterosexuality.
And I've seen discussions of them and explanations of them where they talk about. Sorry. And my stomach. Where they talk about conversion therapy for heterosexuals into homosexuals. They use the term, and some of the people who target children into telling them that they're trans, they're openly saying that they're enjoying corrupting children. They know what they're doing is wrong and full of lies. They're enjoying doing that because they're psychopaths. This is the horror of it. And I wanted to say something else.
Public education.
Say something else initially.
What did you say?
Like how they like corrupting children, and I said like that's public education, man.
Yeah, but they're openly saying it.
Oh god.
They're openly saying they want to do that and they enjoy doing that, and it's so much fun to them. And they're actively targeting underage children, even prepubescents, on the internet. Why ever they are on the internet is another question. Because
now everyone is like that. Like that's like the purpose of social media, to like get everyone there. The more information they have, the more like knowledge they have, and the identification essentially.
Yeah, but it's just a lack of parental oversight.
Well,
it's like
even if you have oversight, you can't like collect the information. It's like sell that.
We're talking 8-year-olds here, and if you are, and it's like parents who buy their children, who buy their 8 or 12-year-olds games that are 18 plus, and then complain about the content of the game coming back to the shop and want to give it back. Because they didn't know this was in there, and then you, as the worker in the shop, you just say, it says 18 plus on here. Why the fuck did you buy it for your kid?
I mean, I never complained when my mom like accidentally like installed Doom on my PC when I was like 6.
Yeah, of course, but that's another thing. I mean, we can run the same example with porn movies.
Well,
why to buy your 12-year-old the 18 plus porn movie?
Like violence and porn is just two different things.
Yeah.
Why would you?
I'm just bringing up the stuff is fucking labeled as for a certain age.
All right.
That's
fine.
what I'm. That's
Games
my
could
point.
be for everybody, right?
Let's keep going.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I like the porn talk now.
Oh dear.
We're not talking about porn.
No.
I was bringing up as an example for age-restricted content, for fuck's sake.
No,
and it's as retarded to do it for the games as for anything else.
Right.
And it's the same for unrestricted internet access for your 8-year-old. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
There you go.
No, that sounds more.
Yes.
Anyway, by the way, we are 3/3 done, or 3/4 done. That's amazing.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Seriously, let's keep going, because I really want to finish it before I pass out.
Right.
I really want to get through it.
Sexual itself is also not determined by biological sex
or
gender
fuck?
identity. So sexual orientation is who you want to...
What the fuck? You are an idiot. You're misinformed. You are spreading misinformation. Since you're all for censorship here, for spreading misinformation, you should be censored for misinformation. Because sexual orientation is informed by biological sex, because it is not as big, but almost as big. It's in the same ballpark of as big as what you call gender identity. It's like we have, depending on how you count, 3 to 5% of people are not heterosexual. That's like in 95% of all cases, we can say has a penis, will grow up to be into girls. Has a vagina, will grow up being into boys. End of story. That is biologically informed. Just because you have a tiny portion of anomalies doesn't break the rule, for fuck's sake. If it was like 30-40%, maybe you could make a case. But even then it would be over 50%. And then it would likely be that our species would just go extinct. And now I remember what I wanted to say before. The SJWs are starting to try to eradicate the bisexuals. Because they're starting to replace the B in LGBT with non-binary. That's just starting right now. They're trying to get the non-binary into the letter soup that way. Because they're failing to attach any more letters to it. No one's accepting of any more letters. Even the Q is in dispute by a lot of people.
Yep.
Okay.
Just wanted to get that out. Sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, even in the UK, it's getting shortened to LGBT more now than LGBTQ.
Yeah, because the Q is bullshit. It either means queer, which is just nothing. It was the old word for gay, and then it was made into just I dress weird and I am not conforming to the norms of the society. Yeah, you're in your rebellious phase and want to detach from your parents. Congratulations, you're dyeing your hair like a punk and have horrible fashion sense. That doesn't mean you're oppressed. It just means you're a rebellious teen.
Yeah, no, congratulations, you've reached 13.
Yeah, basically.
That's literally it. That's it. That's literally, congratulations, you've reached 13. You should be.
Does that mean cosplayers are queer?
And
yes.
Another,
it's a different gender, cosplayer gender.
And another meaning for Q that made a little bit more sense was questioning, but somehow that never really stuck. And sometimes you saw the LGBTQ Q, which meant both.
You can't be questioning for that long. If you're questioning your entire life,
no. The thing is, it makes sense for a time that during puberty you can be unsure of things. We call that if you are suffering from this confusion, whether that is due to sexual orientation or a temporary case of gender dysphoria, because in about 80% of cases it naturally goes away by the end of puberty, which is why you should not treat it medically before the end of puberty. And So we call that sexual maturity crisis. You find that in the ICD-10, which is used outside the US under the headline F66.0. That is sexual maturity crisis. That is what you diagnose a minor, someone be under 18, and nothing else.
F66.
F66.0. And
right. If it was my idea, I'd call it F69, but that's just me. But
that's something else. You want me to tell you what
worst
F69
position,
is?
Hawk?
Hey,
what?
I'm gonna do it for you.
Fine, go on.
I'm gonna do it for you. Yeah. Okay. F69. Okay.
I'm just saying.
There is no F69. The last. Oh no, there is F69. F69 is not further describe personality or behavior disorder. That's just a general headline. There's no diagnosis beneath that. That's just, it basically means generally there's something wrong we don't know. Someone else needs to look closer.
There's a lot of jokes.
F69 just means something's wrong with you. So, someone should investigate. And I am not the person to do it. Yeah.
All right.
Just to entertain that.
Let's just. Shall we just keep going to our next point? Because no offense, Wisp, I know you've got a lot on it, but
we're gonna get done with this in time. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
The longer you complain about us not finishing, the longer it takes to finish.
Yeah. Shush, Hawk.
Don't shush me. I was there when the shush was written. Shut up.
Oh, okay. You created the English language.
The shush whisperer.
So, anyway, TLDR.
The English language.
Yeah. Anyway,
and we Americans ruined it, right?
Okay. So the questioning thing, I believe it never really stuck because it's something that could make sense to add. I think it never stuck because it opens the ability to come to the conclusion in your questioning that you're not part of any of the four letters. And are just normal, that you're heterosexual and you're not trans. And that is something that the SJWs don't want to happen. They want it to be a one-way street. I believe this is maybe why the questioning never stuck.
Yeah, I think it's because, to move on to build on our point, the questioning isn't a permanent state of a person.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be questioned for 20 years because it's one of those things where you're just a bit like, well, you should find out by then. Do you know what I mean? It's not something that you can keep saying, oh, I'm questioning, because with enough experience, you'll have found out. Yeah, you'll have found.
If by end of puberty you don't know what's going on, then you're a failure at understanding yourself. Then you need a therapist.
Yeah. Oh, that or you're really bad at sex. But then again, there's a lot of 40-year-olds who are really bad at sex. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So TLDR is simply your sexual orientation is just as just as biologically informed by your biological sex as is what these people call gender identity. And anything that falls under it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
Date and gender identity is how you see yourself. For example, a trans woman who finds only men attractive is considered straight, even though she's trans.
Not biologically, not scientifically.
Even though she's trans, I mean,
that's just something that's just a difference I have to point out. In everyday life, you might go about that to say that a trans woman, because you don't know it's a trans woman. If the passing works, you see a woman. A good trans woman will be honest with you if that is turning into a serious relationship, or just even a sexual relationship. However, because nobody else needs to know, but your partner and your doctors, nobody else needs to know. So from the outside perspective, it looks like being straight, like a straight relationship. Biologically, scientifically speaking, and this is not something we use in this social context, but biologically speaking, we determine heterosexuality and homosexuality by, just like the biological sex, by the gametes. So an individual that produces sperm that is attracted to another individual that produces sperm is considered homosexual, scientifically speaking, biologically speaking. Same with eggs to eggs. Heterosexual, in the scientific sense, is sperm attracted to eggs and the other way around. That's all. So what Jessie Gender is talking about here is solely the social perception of it. That's not a construct. It's just the social perception, because what we see, if you could say that what is not a good way to put it, but trans women are essentially practicing mimicry of women, but in a positive sense, in a trying to be that. This is very, very badly put, and it can be misinterpreted in the wrong way, because the bad mimicry form would be cross-dressers and drag queens, because they're caricatures. Usually the thing with mimicry is, for example, some plants are doing it. They mimic the look of certain insects, so that those insects think, oh, this is a member of my species of the other sex. And those plants aren't even offering pollen, or nectar rather, but they do offer pollen, right? Because that's how plants reproduce. And the insect will not get any nutrition out of it, but a quasi-sexual act. That's a bit. That's where you can draw a similarity. Whether that's a good one, I don't know. I'm probably talking against my own case. That's something that happens in nature. But that happens deliberately and for other reasons than the gender dysphoria thing. With the gender dysphoria, it's just more a product of an issue instead of the deliberate act to attract a certain type of mate. That's not the same thing. Special nature biology knowledge. Watch more documentaries. Documentaries are amazing. Where were we? Almost done.
Yes, please.
Almost done. So Jessie, of course, has no scientific knowledge of anything. So Jessie thinks this is just simply heterosexual, when it is, in fact, more complicated. It doesn't sound nice when you have to say that a trans woman who's into a man, that is scientifically speaking a homosexual act, but socially it is heterosexual. It's strange. It's strange. It's also with the it's also the case of autogynephilia, which is basically people who are into traps, let's say. which is very reduced and generalized. It's a bit more nuanced than that. Men who are into any sort of female that has male genitals. So the body looks female, has all the markers of a female body, face looks female, but has male genitals. That, despite that, psychologically, neuropsychologically, counts as heterosexual. Now that's confusing because we are plainly biologically speaking, this is homosexual because we have two people who produce sperm. But neuropsychologically, the brain reacts to all the female markers dominantly of the other person. So the brain reacts to all the female markers, which makes it a heterosexual attraction. So it is really a bit complicated and really a bit weird. So the science behind everything is a bit it's fuzzy is the wrong word. It's a Gordian puzzle. Depending on what field you're studying, what stuff you're focusing on, you have to go about different parts of it. It's some parts are confusing. Yeah. Read books. Books are good.
All right.
And yeah, there's good books about it.
So biological sex is determined by your chromosomes, male, female, or intersex. Gender identity is how you identify on a spectrum between masculine and feminine.
There's not a spectrum.
Shut up. Your gender identity relates to the gender identity or identities that you find attractive.
And identities
identify as the binary identities of boy and girl.
I find a car
attractive. In between the two. So gender.
No, there is no in between. And there is also no that someone has several gender identities. If you're not even a split personality, you're just histrionic, and you're just wiggling through different emotional. Just because you call your different emotional states, different genders, and different sexes and different personalities, doesn't mean that those things are real.
Yeah,
that just means you haven't figured yourself out.
If you start go around saying you've got like 3 different gender identities, my first response is to slowly get up and leave whatever room I'm in, and then call like a mental asylum. Because
if I was in an airplane, I'd just walk out, even if it's in the air.
If I was in a submarine, I'd walk out.
In my personal experience, outside in the world with these people, the people who claim to have several gender identities or personalities,
they're very narcissistic.
Always worse. Always borderline personality disorder.
Yeah. Well,
I have not met an exception yet that claims to have these specific things and does not have a borderline personality disorder. And that person needs therapy very much, very hard, and probably in a closed clinic.
Honestly, my biggest issue is that, like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, sorry, go ahead.
But my biggest issue is that, like, I don't care. Like, they can do whatever they want in their free time. But, like, when they like advertise themselves that, like, oh, I'm this and that, like, I don't care about their sex life. Like, that someone like brings it up, it's like already like really disgusting, especially like in a work environment. It's like I couldn't give a shit, even if it's just heterosexual, which obviously I am. But it's just like none of my business or like anyone's to like care about that, like which one you want. It's just like really disgusting. But any person who brings it up, like, it's like it's fine if like they want to like have a relationship like that, but like it's just like it's a private thing. And like I don't understand like why can't it like kept being private? I know that like a lot of these people like having like an issue that like many people are displaying it publicly more, that like they are heterosexual than gay or any other things, but it's just the norm. That's why there's no other way of reproducing, so that's why it's the norm. I believe so. If like there would be like another way to like reproduce, then that would be like the popular way also. But this is the way it is. Like I know that they want to desperately try to like do those scientific like research to like get around this thing, but like I honestly find it disgusting.
All right, I think we're almost done here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like the end of the video was like like an advert.
Let's find out.
NordVPN. Gender isn't two locked boxes that
yes, it is.
Gender is actually a spectrum that we all
no, it's not.
Or not identify with at all. But that's a topic for the
wrong
video. The bottom line, while sex is determined at birth, gender
it's not determined
is
at birth.
So
no, it's not.
Self-identification.
Self-identification
why
is
respect?
bullshit.
Why respect? No. Nobody can force anyone to respect anything.
Respect is something you earn.
Yes, that's something to be earned.
Otherwise, you all need to respect me right now.
All right, guys, I gotta catch up on lots of super chats, and then we have some memes apparently to go through. So
oh boy, Mike Testa.
Mike Testa's
How
nuts.
many super chats did he send?
Yeah, I don't know. But there's also some donations, so that will take some time.
Mike,
let's go through them now.
Mike Testa's like robbed a bank. So,
oh god.
Here's Tyler Preston. I brought up the John Money case to Xanderhall. Why the hell would you do that? When he was doing his interview with Lauren Southern, he said that the study discovered gender dysphoria, and I only brought up money when he said nobody is transitioning children. Really? There's no one in the world transitioning children. Welcome to Canada.
What a fucking liar.
Where we have all kinds of cases of kids who want to become something else because...
Okay, Smart, but like, look, Xanderhall is just a kid. He's only 21 years old.
Oh yeah, he's just a kid. Xanderhall. he doesn't have the ability to monetize his channel anymore because, I don't know, he had some weird posting about... he got banned for a month or so he can't make any money or something bizarre.
Xanderhall. No money.
Yeah, no money for him, unfortunately. But guys, don't go on Xanderhall's video expecting anything of intelligence or relevance to come out of a question. So you could try, but you're gonna fail, unfortunately. Anyway, keep on going. Here's Robert Down Syndrome Jr. We're taking
what?
We're taking policy and advice on social problems from the people who drank from lava lamps as children. I don't know why the boys are socialized and forced to like sports and action figures is the hill the far left wants to die on. They will die on it. Okay. I mean,
wait, what was his name again? That was pretty clever.
Robert Down Syndrome Jr.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, the name's pretty cool, yeah. All right, here we go, Mike Testa. Sorry, what was Wisp was ranting about again? Oh, don't. That was 2 hours ago. Mike, I can't remember. Taker 610, thank you. Smud, about to pull out the kindergarten cop line. Oh my god.
Oh no.
No, I can't do the Austrian accent very well. Mike Testa again. Hawk's gender is H, and Wisp's is rant. Oh.
I'm okay with that.
Identify as a rant. Okay. Mike Testa again. Rant's gender. That is rant's gender. Okay. That means something else, I think. Kyle Rocket. Let's just finish this before everyone's IQ goes deep into the negatives. You know, the stuff she was saying, highly questionable, even if Wisp was not around. Most people would go like, what the hell? Is this really a thing? Do people think this way? And in most cases, I'd say no. So.
No, it's just stupid.
The problem is this is pushed into kids' heads, and into parents' heads, and into educators' heads, and then you end up with children being chemically sterilized being pushed into transitioning.
We have this now. I don't know if you're familiar with sex education. It's now being moved to grade school, and this is part of it. Yeah. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, this should not be there. This is complete. This is anti-science. It's not even pseudoscience. This is anti-science.
Yeah. Here's Mike Testa again. Hawk is into biological shaggyism. Such power. Okay. Thank you, Michael. John Calabro. Hey, Smudboy, are you going to do any more plot analysis videos on games? I sure would like to, and I think I will start probably when summertime comes, if not sooner, because I do have a lot of things I want to do. And now that I have my new machine, I should have nothing stopping me. I just have to download the software, get it going. And I'm going to finish off KOTOR, and I don't know which one next, but I'll figure it out. What else? Mike Testa. Sorry. Yes. Smud. Wisp. Yoo-hoo. Wisp. Hello. The rest are all from Mike Testa. Here we go. Wisp 12, Smud 0. Yeah, pretty much. Wisp. Mr. Smud, man needs to get the video going, please. This was all 2 hours ago.
Time.
Welcome to Smudcast. Wait, I'm being told it's Wispcast now, as Wisp has dominated Smud as the true daddy. Now back to, I guess, the video. Hooray.
We'll do something non-dystopic
with mommy, right?
For the rest of the week, hopefully.
Well, yeah, it's not all, every time we get a Jessie Gender video, it's always a treat. Are you finished with those errands? Are you sure? Whose errands are we referring to? I don't know. Mike Testa again. Somebody play the gonk from Dawn of the Dead for FFS. Okay. The gonk? Not sure what sound effect that refers to.
I'm sure Zach would know.
Zach would have it on his soundboard, yeah. Here's Mike Testa again. Hand DNA or albino pee-pee juice originates from tanks. Hand DNA.
Oh, hand DNA.
Oh, hand DNA.
With the Emperor in Star Wars, they took Luke's hand DNA.
Yeah.
Remember? Which is for some reason different to other parts of your body's DNA.
Somehow found Luke's hand in the mists of Vespin that somehow wasn't destroyed in the depths of the gas giant's pressure and toxicity.
What is the best way to keep anything alive?
Yep.
Jeez. Here's Skullgar Thane. A cool name. Happy 300 Smud and gang. Yeah. Here's to 300 more. Oh, God. I don't know.
Oh, there will definitely be 300 more. I know this.
I don't know. That sounds pretty crazy, but it's possible. Never know with these videos.
There was a sequel to 300, remember?
Yeah, but the thing is, Smud, you have to remember that I joined on, what was it, 139? That was only like 5 months ago. We've made nearly halfway again.
Well, we do one almost every day. We maybe missed it 4 or 5 days for various reasons. I think we missed a few days ago because no one wanted to do the ones that was chosen.
Missed Sunday.
Yeah, so it was like,
I didn't want to do. I was at the pub. How many times do I have to explain?
At the pub day. Sorry, no video. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, we're getting pissed. Can't help you here. Watch somebody else.
Here's Mike Test again. If stereotypes are bad, that means coconuts are bad. If stereotypes are bad, that means coconuts are bad. Why is a coconut bad?
Was this from the Riddler?
It's a bit. I don't know.
Coconuts are bad. I don't know, Mike. This is one of those times.
That's too meta.
You're gonna have to help us out. This
is the fucking Riddler, I swear.
Yeah, Dr. Chris, I believe this is a person in chat. Are you in debt? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe Mike was having a conversation with Dr. Chrisman. I don't know, but I do know he's in chat.
Well, he's definitely going to be in debt after we finish up his super.
Well, Mike Testa would be. Maybe not Dr. Chrisman.
Yeah. He's probably going to have to live off of coconuts.
Yeah. Here we go. Gender theory. Is Jessie himself a social construct? You know what? The way that she was describing all these things, I wouldn't be surprised if this is all in her head.
But the whole thing is if right, that's a thing I missed out on in all of this. If gender is a social construct, then why can't I just talk the gender dysphoria away? Because they're not talking, as you noticed, they're not talking about gender dysphoria anymore.
They can't. They don't have the knowledge.
No, it's because gender dysphoria is in the way of the narrative. They're in the beginning as a stepping stone to get the narrative going, and now because everything shows and proves that gender dysphoria is a biological thing, They don't talk about it. They omit it. So that it's like they're omitting the part that breaks the narrative, essentially. And that's why people who have the actual problem, with the actual medical problem, are thrown under the bus. They don't give a shit about us. Even if we're not opposing them, they don't give a shit about us.
Okay.
The people who took over the rainbow, they want to be rid of us.
The rainbow. Oh, God.
Yeah.
They have the full spectrum of white light. Okay, sure. Thank you. Here's more from Mike Testa. You said it wrong, Wisp. It's that choo-choo goes in the woo-woo and goes woo-woo, or better known as the train goes in the tunnel. All right. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's
well put.
What? You want to respond to that? You don't have to.
No.
Well,
here's Jesse's brain is on the spectrum. Yeah, well, we're not sure.
That's an insult to the spectrum.
Yeah, maybe. For the love of God, please read the super chats. That's what we're doing. And one more. Hawk, can you shush? Wisp barely spoke at all. Anger. Okay. Did someone else super chat, or is it just me? Well, pretty much just you, Mike. I mean, you're one blowing your.
Hey, Mike. Guess what?
Mike, give some room for other people to super chat.
Let someone else.
Mike, shush! Stop super chatting. Other people can't super chat. Jesus.
Other people want to donate money.
Here's Cal Rocket. Looks like we need 2 brain cleansers after this. Oh, if you have a second meme, we'll check it out because we're gonna go there soon.
He's got he's actually put 3 in now.
All right.
Which look okay.
All right. Here's another.
Is it 3?
No,
No,
there needs to be another super chat for that to be covered.
No.
He's only put 2 in. So yeah.
2 more mic testers, and we'll jump to the memes. Methinks this is just Wisp month 24/7, ain't it? Wisp month 24/7.
Hey, it's not my fault you always vote for communism and this crap.
Yeah,
yesterday I wasn't on because there was Mass Effect Day.
The idea of having an entire month dedicated to anything is kind of ridiculous anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant. Oh God, no.
Wisp. See, everyone's going to call it Wisp month now every time. Hey, welcome to Wisp month.
This is so horrible. Like, you have a Memorial Day for fallen soldiers, and then you get a month for gay shit. That is all about cardinal sin.
You gotta think about the fallen gays.
No, we have a Wisp for all the
right. That brings me to
brain
something.
cells we have.
Oh yeah, we should mourn them. That brings me to something. The conservatives were forced transitioning gay men in the 50s and I believe in the 60s in the UK. And one of the victims of that was Alan Turing. Some people that name may ring a bell. When it became public knowledge that he was gay, it was law that gay people had to be given hormone therapy. Because the logic was that the sexual orientation was an indicator that they want to be women, even if they say they don't. Because the sexual orientation has to be in compliance with your body, with your biological body. That is essentially the same thing that the SJWs are now doing with your behavior. So instead of hanging it up on the sexual orientation and you have to transition because of that, they say your behavior and interests are from the other sex, so you have to transition your body. It's that same thing, just with another reason.
Yeah. All right, next super chat.
Last one. Coconut bad equals Lindsay Ellis being ignorant. Remember? Coconut.
No.
Oh, Lindsay Ellis said something about coconut, didn't she? But to be honest with you, Lindsay Ellis is such like a non-entity in my brain that I actually even forget she even exists until someone says her name.
She's like a mini boss from a video game, like the first level.
No, she's like the. If you ever played Batman Arkham Origins, she's the electrocutioner of the internet. So.
Didn't he just punch him once and he went down? That was funny.
Yep. And then he got kicked out of a window, so it was kind of funny.
And that window was Twitter.
Was Twitter.
All right.
Addendum to the Alan Turing thing. He also committed suicide because of the forced transition.
Yeah. Wisp, I was going to say it was a perfect meme for you in the Smudcast.
Is it this one? The born of a tyrant?
Since we have this special topic here, just one.
Oh no, not that one, not the born a tyrant one. Jesus.
I don't know where this came from. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Here we go. Hawk dying on Smudcast 300 2021 colorized. Is that a Asian or a Mexican man? I can't tell.
Oh, we're already at the memes. I'm sorry, I didn't notice.
What? Hawk Smudcast 300. What the hell's going on here? Put your bullets. It's red. Oh, it's Red Dead. Okay. Right.
No, it's when Arthur gets TB.
Diagnosed or just gets it?
He gets diagnosed with it. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's gonna die.
Okay, I just saw the.
That's amazing. That's so funny.
Oh,
I honestly don't think Wisp would be that angry if he had a beer in his hand. So he'd be like, Jesse, you are an idiot. And he'd take a sip and he'd go, oh, that's much better.
I've been that angry at some point with someone. I don't remember who.
Yeah, but not while you're drinking beer. Beer is the greatest thing to have whenever you feel angry or you feel sad or you feel anything. It just
that also looks like a Hefeweizen, and Hefeweizen is good.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is good. Hawks. Whoa, jeez. Hawk. That's a very nice tombstone, by the way. But
why is it not on the mountains, Hawk?
The mountains?
I couldn't find one in the mountains. I literally just found one with a bird on it and went, that'll do. I had like 5 minutes to make it.
Oh, this is great. I like this one the best. All we need is to get Wisp into smoking. And
no, that won't happen.
Yeah.
Trench coat.
Trench coat and smoking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, smoking can't happen. That is. Oh no!
Oops, I made a mistake. Evan Douglas.
I don't know.
What?
No, it's like
who draws a boy like that.
Yeah, Wish went when you accidentally cut off your balls, and it was like, okay, whoops, I made a mistake.
Look at the hand position and how the eyes are drawn. These are girl markers.
Yeah, he's got really girly lips.
This is a feminized boy. This is just what the fuck.
Well, he cut his balls off, so.
When you were tired of the world, whoa! All the gender symbols. Just get lock and loaded. Put the helmets on, breathers on. Just get out there.
That's from Killzone, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. The hell gas. It's funny.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And there they all. Oh my god! I don't want to look at that. That's great. That's.
Nazi.
Oh wait, those are Assassin's Creed. Look at that, right? There's just random symbols.
Oh my god! There's loads of these. These are great.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's a 10-year-old list at this point.
Civil attack helicopter. All right. Demigod.
I want to identify as America.
Mars.
Rate of gender fluidity 4.
You've never seen this?
Oh my god, this is great.
You've never seen these? Wow. Lots of them look like Pokemon.
What the hell is gender fluid, third gender, and demi?
There's a jar of mayonnaise.
Stargate?
Just a jar
Stargate
of mayonnaise. Yeah, and Stargate. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh my, and separate. Oh no, this is great.
All right. Hawks, fun night out. Oh, all these booze bottles. All whiskey, just glug, glug, glug. Look at this.
I love the next one.
Look at the size of the glass. That's like a big glass of whiskey if that's what he's drinking. Oh my god.
That's orange juice.
When you both spread your legs. Damn it.
It's awesome.
How does this,
I love that meme.
How does this sex thing work? I don't know. All right, that's it. Well, we got some videos, but I'm not gonna play. They're too small, and I don't know. You guys can go to Discord and watch them yourself. How's that?
Yeah. Well, I have watched them, so yeah, they're all right.
Oh. Man, time flew by.
Oh man, that TV's getting worse, isn't it, Hawk?
I'm definitely going to go to bed if this is over.
All right. Well, we have one more super chat. We'll call it a night. This is from Tom the Cat. Hey, Tom, thanks. Talking of all this trans stuff, Florida's governor banned trans people from entering certain sports. Trans women can't enter all women's sports, and so on. Good.
Yes.
Oh,
Good.
finally.
I agree.
Good.
I agree, because that's like being lifelong on doping, being lifelong on steroids. It's just that is simply unfair. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Good to hear. Well, there are some small victories here and there, and I think the world's going to wake up hopefully sooner rather than later, because this is all these stories of changing vocabulary and words and terms and making it legal or illegal to say something improper, that you get to the point of getting jailed because your daughter wants to identify as something else. That's happened in Canada.
Yeah, you all have to organize and stand up against this, because it's only possible because everybody lets it happen, looks away and hopes it goes away on its own, but it won't. When you look away, it will fester, it will grow more. And the last 10 years should have taught you that by now. As annoying as it is, we all just want to play video games, watch movies, maybe go out and sit in the park with our family. Yes, that's what we all want. But we're not going to be able to do that if this keeps festering more and more and more.
Right.
We have to take up some time of the week and get together and organize and tell the local government and the upper government, stop it. And tell the schools to stop it. Stop this shit. Stop indoctrinating our children. Stop putting pseudoscience into their heads, and figure out what the real science actually is, and then tell them that. And tell them that why you need to learn what about their postulations is wrong science. Because it's not science is settled. No, the science is, for one, the science is never settled. Secondly, secondly, what they call science is just their narrative and their dogma. When you look at it, it falls apart. The papers they write, they fall apart. Sometimes they have good data, but they deliberately misinterpret the data in order to still get their narrative conclusion. And there are a couple famous papers about that, like the brain mosaic study that was torn apart. Publicly, it was pushed by the media as the awesome proof. But when the corrections all came in, and and a lot of scientists took it apart and brought up counter studies or pointed out how the data you used is good, but you completely misinterpreted it in the opposite direction. When that had to be corrected, the corrections were not picked up by the media at all. They just pushed the bullshit. They did not push the corrections, and that is this omittance is part of why the media is not journalism but propaganda. Because journalism would push, oh my god, here's something that was completely wrong and bullshit. We're sorry. We don't want anyone to have to derive harm from this. So here's the corrections. This is important. But that's not happening. You have to figure that out yourself. Sadly, that's the position we're in, and that's the censorship society we're being slowly eased into. You're made to feel, this part of demoralization, you're made to feel like you are helpless, but you are not. The left knows how to organize. Everyone else still has to learn it again, because they essentially deprive everyone of the idea to be able to, because in their eyes, they're portrayed as anyone who organizes against us is evil. And nobody wants to be called a Nazi. No one wants to be called some racist or sexist or otherist.
What? I like being called Nazi. It's great. I've got a little bingo card that I use.
I don't even mind it either. I just want to know what's wrong with it.
Yeah, that's great for you, but most people are just, they don't want to be called these horrible things. And they're for terminating cliches. And that's part of the psychological abuse that they put on all the fucking population. You have to learn to ignore that and stand above that and say, you can call me whatever you want. You're lying. This is slander. Stop it.
Okay. Well, I'm literally about to pass out, so if you want to wrap it up, that's perfectly fine. But I'm going to be muted. So
No. The show doesn't stop at 300.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. That was number 300 for whatever it's worth to anyone. You could assign values to that. You can have a party. You can go to bed, whatever you feel like. That's the best part. You can do whatever you like.
You going to celebrate?
I eat well and drink well every day. It's the same. Why would I not have a good time every day? I don't know. It's kind of weird. So I will go shopping tomorrow. It's a good idea to pick some stuff up. Yeah, no, we gotta get more cheese. You gotta get more bread. You gotta get more good stuff.
Oh, yes.
The basics.
Oh, man, I could go for some cheese right now.
Oh, it's always a good time for cheese. It's always. Anyway, thank you guys. Keep the suggestions coming. Hopefully a change of topic would be nice. Let's try not to talk about sex for at least a week. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe something fun like games or dumb takes on Star Wars or Marvel movies or, the fun stuff.
Yeah, like normal stuff. Oh, man.
That'd be good.
Oh, man.
I've got a decent one for Star Wars if you want to go to that one next.
Keep the suggestions coming. Keep them fun. And hopefully we'll have a good time next time, too. So talk to you soon. Have a great night. And